It's the final game of round 1 2022. Will it end with a full stop, providing a statement on what to expect from West Coast and the Gold Coast? Will it leave us with more question marks over the Gold Coast and their talent-heavy list? Or will there be an exclamation mark as an injury-hit Eagles perhaps provide this 50% capacity crowd with something to cheer about? The Eagles go in with 16 unavailable players. They're just one step away from having to call on their COVID top-up list. They're missing the likes of Shuey, their captain, Yeo, Sheed, Allen, Duggan, Cripps, Darling, Cole, Ryan and Kelly. If the stage was set for the Gold Coast to come coast to coast and take the points back to the Sunshine State, this surely is it. But the Eagles, nevertheless, still hold several stars. Nick Natanui will be dominant in the middle. There's the likes of Jeremy McGovern, Shannon Hearn, Jack Redden, all still there. And they'll be making 4 players with a debut. 3 of them club debuts today as the West Coast Eagles bring across their number 1 club recruit in Sam Petrevski-Seton. The former Carlton player Hugh Dixon becomes the latest in a small list of players who turned out for Fremantle and then have made the step across to the Eagles. And Patrick Naish, formerly of Richmond, arrived, less than a fortnight ago, got a run in the pre-season, the second pre-season game for West Coast, and now finds himself starting in round 1. And there is a debut for Brady Hoff, a terrific story coming through the Peel Thunder Football Club. Lots to look forward to. West Coast versus Gold Coast right around the nation on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden in commentary alongside Ben Cameron. Ben, overcast conditions. It's a little bit cooler than what we normally expected. West Coast, goodness me, has a team had a pre-season like the Eagles have experienced?
I'm not sure. Good afternoon to you, Clint. COVID controversy. They've had pride jumper problems. They've had injury issues. It's been a nightmare pre-season for the West Coast Eagles. They'll be hoping to leave all of that behind them with a win today. The Gold Coast Suns, they've never beaten West Coast in Perth from 9 previous attempts. They will never get a better chance than today with the threadbare West Coast Eagles and what's left of them. That said, the Gold Coast Suns have their own issues. I mean, their leading goal kicker last year, Ben King, 47 goals. The next best, Josh Corbett, on 23. Neither of that pair are there today. And Alex Sexton, who was the third leading goal kicker with 21 at a goal a game, he's the Medi sub. So how do they kick a score today? That's the question for the Gold Coast Suns. But they'll never get a better opportunity to beat West Coast in Perth.
And they come in with red-hot form too in the pre-season for whatever that is worth. Wins over Port Adelaide by 21 points and then Geelong by 23. So Gold Coast will arrive in the West with plenty of expectation and a bit of confidence too. Maybe not for the Eagles. Belted by Fremantle by 97 points and then going down by 13 in the second of their pre-season games. I say this with slightly tongue-in-cheek, but the 2 blokes sitting behind me, Shane Woewode, Brownlow medalist, Jared Wellingham, premiership player, the condition they're in, they might not have been too far away about getting a call up to see whether they had, they've got Sunday afternoon off. What nick were the boots in to run around for the West Coast Eagles? It's amazing to think almost half their list unavailable for this game of footy. Sharad, Shane, goodness me, they've got a tough task today with the Gold Coast.
Oh, it is a massive task, and thanks for having us back once again. Very much looking forward to this for the season, and I'm a little bit nervous. We were here six months ago, but it feels like a long time ago, and it was a great occasion, but good to be back at the footy. West Coast are up against it today. I think it's going to be really tough. I mean, speaking to the guys in the club, they were all actually really confident when they came back, and everyone, I think they had 16 PBs on their time trials. Everyone was fit and firing. Simo was confident with the new game plan that they're going to be implementing. And it's just, it's been torn to shreds. As you mentioned, we've had COVID crises. Obviously, the Jack Darling thing's been massive all over the media for a long time. Great that he's been able to get back into the fold, but he's going to take a while before he gets match ready and match fitness. And I think he's got also a bit of a sore foot, so that's another question mark on another really key player. I just don't know how they're going to fill the void of those 16 key players. It's just too big of an ask, I think. And especially, like you said, Gold Coast coming off some pretty good pre-season form. We saw the way Geelong played. They played amazing brand of footy, and for Gold Coast, they'll come away from that pre-season game, as you mentioned, it's just a pre-season, take from it what you can, but they'll come away from that really confident and then bolstered even further by the fact that they know they are going up against an undermanned West Coast.
Yeah, great to be back. Thanks, Clint, for having us again. Exciting that round one's here, and today we'll finalise the end of 9 games, so it's an exciting weekend it's been. Yeah, Simo would have thought 3 months ago how exciting to be venturing into a new year and a new style of footy and whatnot, but it's not just the players, it's the length too of the injuries that it's going to keep them out for an extended period, and they've sort of got to just let it go, and because you can't control it now, so what can you control now is just keep developing this list and get out what you can, really. And just again, with the loss, it provides opportunity for others, and you look at pathways in footy, and we know there's the draft, but how many different ways to be getting on a list now, and you think of Naish and Dixon and where they were.
I had no idea that
4 months ago
Hugh Ho had come from Bunbury, playing down there 18 months ago.
Yeah.
He was playing country footy.
I had no idea that was his
to go
pathway.
to Peel Thunder, and they spotted him. He won the Colts best and fairest, and Peel were very, very convinced early on, and I know West Coast were lurking early on as well. They said, we like this guy, and now gets an opportunity to debut.
Yeah, he wouldn't have debuted if that list is available, so you just got to take your opportunities when they present. He may not have got a senior game this year, but pre-season form, COVID protocol, injuries, he's playing his first game, which is really exciting for him. But Hugh Dixon was training with East Fremantle pre-Christmas, and he's a talent. He'll be there. He'll provide a foil for Kennedy and while these other boys are coming back. And geez, Naish, he was delisted, trained at St Kilda. No, bugger, that may not be getting a crack there. I'll go to West Coast and get a run at it. So
I had agreed, I think, with one of the Sandford clubs, had agreed to go with them.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden gets the phone call, would you mind jumping on a plane and getting across here? Got here on the Thursday for the Sunday.
Plays half a game of footy.
Yeah, the scratch match.
Looked good in it, though, it must be said.
Pardon?
I mean, he looked good in the second half when he came on in that scratch match.
Yes, he did. So, yeah, again, opportunity, and particularly for Gold Coast, again, good pre-season. That's all it is. Kings are massive out. Again, where do they score, as you said, Benny? Where do they find that? Pretty similar to West Coast. In that pre-season game a couple of weeks ago, I find avenues to score for West Coast was limited as well. It's probably very similar to the other end with Gold Coast. Is from a tall perspective, ground balls, no worries. I think they've got some talent at ground level, but aerially, where can they have an impact?
The inflatable eagle is back for another season as the West Coast players. Plenty of new faces for the Eagles. 4 players making their club debuts. One of those a league debut as well. Led out by Tom Barras, holding young Bub in arms. His 100th game for the West Coast Eagles, a premiership player with the club. And he promised us last week if he kicks a goal, he'll turn on the century and pretend to raise the bat to the stands. We'll be holding him to that. Lots to talk about for the West Coast Eagles and indeed the Gold Coast Suns. This is a very talent-heavy list. Matt Rowell gets another opportunity to impress. Came here hoping to do so last season and then injury-cruelled his 2021 campaign. But there's a lot to like about this Gold Coast side, and now with the likes of Casbolt and Chol forward as well. As we welcome our listeners on ABC News Radio to Perth Stadium. No late changes for either side. The West Coast Eagles taking on the Gold Coast Suns. Big game for both of the clubs. West Coast, they decided to go around one more time with this ageing list, and the pre-season dealt them no favours at all. The number of injuries they've had going into round one, quite ridiculous really. 16 players unavailable to be involved this afternoon. And while the Suns are missing King, their lead avenue towards goal, they've still got plenty of options and plenty of talent around the ground. It's Ben Cameron who's calling alongside me. Told you earlier, the Gold Coast, they've never won here in the West against the Eagles. It's set for them this afternoon. The home side, they'll be wanting to prove everyone wrong. And we'll get to see what they're made of without so many senior players in a short time. Clint Wilton in commentary alongside our experts Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woewodin. Where do the keys come today, gentlemen? I'm really interested in your thoughts in particular about these youngsters We've seen a number of them develop. We've seen a number of them that get some injuries with Gold Coast. But surely this group, talent-heavy, top draft picks, Stuart Dew in his 5th season, he is under pressure no matter what anyone says. It's time for the Suns to deliver. Can they do it? Can they do it starting today against West Coast? Shane, Sharrod.
Oh, I certainly think they can. You know, it's great to see Matty Rowell back and back in great condition, shape again, and providing again support for Anderson and Miller. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can deliver round one and complement this Gold Coast Suns. Now, Nat Newey v Wits, really important clash I think today, not only around stoppage and what they do at centre bounce, but around the ground and providing impact, particularly early around the ground. So that'll be a big one. I think we've seen the damage that teams are doing in round one from centre bounce, and not necessarily just the clearance, but how efficient and effective they are to score, which is becoming imperative every year with what teams can do in there. So the midfield group will be pretty special. I think they bat deeper, Gold Coast.
Yeah.
They bat and more in senior depth, really, haven't it? That's where I reckon they can get hold of West Coast today with the lack of experience in there with what they've got to do. So I reckon Miller's going to be dangerous player. I reckon All-Australian, best and fairest, key component to this group, but his work rate and his ethic around the ground and what he delivers is really important. So that'll be a big one for me to watch. But again, as I said up the start, the two bookends, the key forward areas for both groups, I think that'll be done at ground level where the scores will come from today, not necessarily in the air, because both defences will be pretty rock solid. So again, avenues to score will be pretty important for them.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head with the depth of experience that the Gold Coast, I think, have. I think I had a quick look, and 8 to 10 players on West Coast list is all, or the West Coast team is all they have with over 50 games experience. They've obviously got the really high-end numbers in JK and Hearn, but and even Nick Nat to a lesser extent, but below that it drops away significantly. So that experience is going to be really, really relied upon for those guys. And I think you're exactly right. Nick Nat is probably going to be more important today more than ever. He plays that extra mid. He doesn't get a lot of the ball, but if he can get 15 to 20 touches instead of 10 to 15, I think that'll go a really long way to helping them around the ground. And like you said, Wits moves around the ground really well, but probably Nick Nat will be able to outmark him and bring, if he doesn't mark it, bring it to ground and create more contest. And again, you're exactly right. The West Coast midfield, I think, is just going to be a little bit undermanned, and Gold Coast are going to be able to find the ball away from the stoppage. It's going to be pretty tight in the stoppage, but I think they're going to be able to find
on the spread. They're going to. Turk Miller's work rate is through the roof. I can just already see him gathering touches from away from the stoppage, second and third possession, and especially on turnover. And again, like you mentioned, the avenues to goals is going to be really hard for Gold Coast, because I believe they are going to win a lot of those stoppage and loose ball gets, but McGovern and Barras are going to be there quelling their inside 50. So you're exactly right. They've got to find avenues to goal a little bit differently, because we know how much West Coast rely on those turnovers, and then it's going to bring in their rebound play of Nelson and Hearn into the fore. Joshy Rotham's another one who I'm thinking. Another pre-season. He's apparently been in really good touch over the summer. Impressed, taking his game to another level. So looking forward to seeing him have an impact, because that turnover play for West Coast, I think, is going to be really big today. It's where the game is now, isn't it? Off turnover.
Yeah.
And can you score and can you go quick, but also connect going forward, which is really important. And teams have struggled over the weekend. There've been some passage of play. I think all sides at times have been a little bit rusty. I think the intensity raises, doesn't it, in round one, and the skill level can drop a little bit, and fatigue sets in. I know some games today where there's a bit of cramping
in that Freo game.
Yeah, so
I think it was 31 degrees there.
It's pretty warm here today as well, even though it's overcast.
It's humid,
both teams train the heat. Suns are no different to West Coast, although a little bit more humid up there or over there compared to what it is here. But again, for me, offensively, what have West Coast been working on? Yes, the list is not where it needs to be, but I still want them to see and put speed on the ball and go quick when it needs to, and take ground, take yards, rather than go around and go to contest and try and get through that gap to go to one-on-ones.
And I think that having the youth of the side in, they're going to be more
braver.
malleable. They're going to be able to be, able to engage in that game style a bit quicker than someone who's played a certain style for a few years and is now trying to change it. I think that having that youth in there will be, beneficial in that aspect, because they get told to do something, you're more likely to go and do it instead of sticking to your old habits.
Yeah, well, there's a framework to play, but sometimes go and play within it and be brave with the ball. And if you see it, hit it. Grab something off, get some overlap, get some avenues to goal, going a bit quicker, and get some one-on-ones and stop the defence folding back on you. So it'd be really important for both groups to be able to do it.
One thing we don't think anybody's mentioned yet, but first game back for Willie Rioli, which is absolutely awesome.
Great to see.
He looks like he's in pretty good condition as well.
Doesn't he?
He looks like he's pretty fit. If he can have an impact in that forward 50, it will absolutely get the rest of the team up and about. You can just imagine what it's going to be like. They're going to absolutely thrive off that.
Because we talk about the goals that he delivers quite often, but it's also the forward pressure. The forward pressure that he was able to provide in their premiership year was just savagely lacking after he went out of this team.
And just his ball use.
That's
so creative. Like
anything else.
His mid-forward connection, if he gets up the ground and has that inside 50 entry, he uses it so beautifully.
Yeah. It's elite level.
On the other defence, Lukosius, we saw him play forward in the pre-season.
Yeah.
Would you expect that to happen again?
Yes. Have to.
Just because of options.
But I think he's been training there all pre-season.
You had.
Yeah, so it's another tall option. It's a third tall roaming. Again, ball use.
Plus, he had played as a key forward as a junior. I mean, that was his position before they sort of rebranded him down back and on the wing.
I loved him down back, though. And,
yeah, so did I.
Ball use in the back end was so good.
I think there were a couple of occasions here last year where his ability to use the ball coming off half back was really key.
Good,
yeah. But having seen that, when you lose King, you do have to put people into positions otherwise.
And he's not a small guy. I think he's 190 odd centimetres or something. So
because Casbock's still very inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's listed as 195, which
Chol's not a genuine key. He's a ruckman who just floats there. So a third tall option is important for him.
Toss the coin about to happen out in the middle. Ben Cameron will keep an eye across that. In the meantime, though, Gold Coast Suns very keen to get out there and get on with things. Nick Natanui, acting captain today, one of the club's vice captains, in the absence of course, Luke Shuey. He'll be there.
I wonder if he'll play more minutes this year.
Natanui?
In games. Yeah, like he's
I think he'll
rotating
have
a
to
lot.
without Allen being able to pinch hit.
Toss of the coin. It's Miller versus Natanui. How does it go, Ben?
Tuke Miller and the Gold Coast Suns have won the toss and elected to kick to the city end of the ground in the first turn.
So a first win for the Gold Coast Suns. It's overcast, but it's not raining yet, which is rare during AFL games when Bridget Lacey is on the boundary. Hello, Bridget. Welcome back to Grandstand AFL.
Thank you, Clint. It's great to be back, and even better, as you said, not a drop of rain at the minute. It is overcast skies, a little bit sticky and 25 degrees down here, a bit of a blustery breeze. If anything, it seemed to be favouring the Graham Farmer Freeway end of the ground. Mark Hutchings and Daniel Venables, premiership players for the Eagles, have already farewelled the crowd, but it is a lot easier to social distance than normal down here at the moment, guys. A lot smaller crowd than we normally get here at Perth Stadium. The starting benches for both sides for West Coast: Xavier O'Neill, Jermaine Jones, Bailey Williams and Harry Edwards, with the sub Isaiah Winder. And for the Gold Coast, Alex Davies, Braden Fiorini, Darcy McPherson, Caleb Graham, and the starting sub today for the Gold Coast is Alex Sexton.
Good on you, Bridget. Of course, COVID protocols in Perth at the moment. Perth Stadium at 50% capacity. I'm not sure if they've even quite reached that, Ben.
Looks far less than that. Adam Simpson put out a video during the week, or the Eagles did, of Adam Simpson imploring fans to get along, which told you they were worried they weren't going to get to even the 30,000. Looks far less than that at the moment.
Amazing to think the Eagles, it's not a capacity crowd to get the season going. They're without so many of their stars. And on top of all of that, they go in as the underdogs in round one against the Gold Coast. How will it all unfold? Ben Cameron to get us started on Grandstand AFL.
Natanui and Witts. Natanui slaps it down. Miller after it for the Suns. Gets a handball away. Sweeps it forward. Coming through Foley. Leaves it behind. Has to go back and get it. And they pile on top. And we'll go again. Matty Rowell on top of him. And good to see. No strapping on Matty Rowell. Last year he was mummified. Had the shoulder, the knee, the whole body, as Witt slaps it down on this occasion. Quick clearing kick coming from the Eagles, and Foley out towards the wing, close to the boundary line. Losing it in the tackle is Sharp, and he's caught holding the ball. So Nelson to get the free kick for the Eagles on the southern wing. Caught him stone dead, holding the ball. There's Nelson, kicks the Eagles to half forward. Launching is Dixon and he takes the mark. A good start in Eagles colours, sets it up towards full forward, looking for Petruccelli. Kennedy coming in from the side, can't take the mark. The Suns arrive in numbers, Lemons jams it on the boot, kicks beyond defensive 50.
Ugly looking bounce for the Suns. Can they control it? Bobbles around. Ferrini's hand pass intercepted. Umpire spots a free kick going the way of the Suns. Taken high. Comes out towards the commentary wing, and there is Lukosius. Takes the mark right up against the boundary line. The coast-to-coast challenge between the Suns and the Eagles. Lukosius kicks towards right half forward. Going up, Foley couldn't mark. Barris was there, 100-gamer. Quick hands, ball hits the deck. Ballard tries to, or Rao rather, tries to get a kick through traffic. Surrounded by Eagles. Rao picks it up a second time. Shovels the hand pass forward. Miller goes in. Tried to get a hand pass inside forward 50. Barris was there. Hand pass out to McGovern under genuine pressure. Rankin tapped it away. The ball bobbles over the boundary line. It's going to be a throw-in right where the 50-metre arc meets the boundary line. Gold Coast Suns on the attacking side of the ground. It's at right half forward for them. No score in the opening 2 minutes on Grandstand AFL.
So Witts and Natanui. Witts works his way to the front, flicks it down towards Ellis. Spins, gets a little kick away. It's knocked down immediately. Rioli can't pick it up. Rao can. He's tackled by Natanui. Gets it on the boot. Inside 50 it goes for the Suns. And the mark's taken by Ainsworth.
It's good by Holman.
40 metres out, a 45-degree angle to the right-hand side, and he'll go back and kick for goal.
Just kept his opponent out there, just to allow Ainsworth to come in uncontested and take that mark. It's pretty hot early around the contest.
Yeah, both teams definitely putting their head in and over the ball.
Kicked 4 goals in the final pre-season game against Geelong. A tough chance here, 45-degree angle, boot the ball from 45 out, strikes it okay, but across the face. It'll go to the goal line, comes down in the goal square, and it's socked through. Holman, he's claiming it. The umpires want to confer, but I reckon it's a goal. The outside of the boot, and Holman has been able to soccer it through for the first major.
Certainly looked like it from here.
We'll check, but I reckon he's got it. There's an eagle around in Hoff.
Oh, I think Hoff may
shin.
have got a finger on it after it came off the shin.
So Holman cleverly, with his outside of his left boot, was able to knock it towards goal, but whether Hoff touched it on the way through.
May have come off Hoff's left shin.
Hoff, yeah.
I reckon it's taken some of Hoff, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So you might have heard that. The adjudication is that it was off the Eagles defender, so a minor score to start for the Suns. 4 minutes played, 1 behind the Suns, the Eagles yet to score.
Good early involvement from the debutant Hoff. Just getting a little touch on it. Looked like a goal. Live, kick towards the outer side of the ground. Ballard! Strong mark in a pack. Red and black boots. He trots backwards. And he'll kick with the right inside forward 50. Barris up against Chol. Barris front position. Chol's able to knock it to ground. Ainsworth can't keep it in. It's over the line for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for West Coast. Cool conditions. 25 degrees in the west. Suns with the only score so far. It's a behind. Witt smashes it forward with the left palm. Out after it. Rotherham can't gather. Ball's there to be won. Taken high. Rao against Gaff. Got him over the shoulder. He'll have a free kick. About 45 from goal. Left forward pocket for Gold Coast.
Attack on the ball was good by Rao.
Strong, aggressive.
Just lined it, Disney.
Had an unbelievable start to his career before injury. And then came back and injury got him again.
Looks like he's added a couple of kilos to his frame as well.
He's already a very solid youngster. Boots cross the 50. Rao kicks on its way. Goal umpire has to go surging to his right. He's missed the lot to the left-hand side. Another great shot on goal.
It looked a bit robotic, didn't it? There was no fluency within that run-up for his kicking motion.
So Redden goes short. Rotham leads up. And marks on his chest in the back pocket for the Eagles. Found himself out of the team on a couple of occasions late last year, to the surprise of some. Rotham kicks towards the wing. Natanui a hand to it. Down at ground level, Langdon for the Eagles. Handball away to Dixon. Handball to Hoff. Dumps it on the boot. Kicks to half forward. Collins is there. He marks for the Suns at centre half back. Gives it off by hand to Weller. Sweeps a handball away to Powell, who's met solidly as he kicks to half forward in the direction of Casbolt. Off his hands with Barris there providing the pressure. And out of play for a throw-in, 52 around from the Suns' goal. They're one behind, the Eagles yet to score. We've played 6 minutes and change here in this opening term on Grandstand AFL.
Another one inside there, Brady Hoff. He could have handballed to another runner.
Spun back in, Witt's front position, palms it down to Miller, kicks the Suns inside forward 50, goes towards full forward. Casbolt surely shoved over his opponent. In the meantime, it's bounced down to Rankin. He gets around his opponent and he kicks the goal for the Suns. That's the first of the day. 6 and a bit minutes gone in the opening term. The Suns 1-1-7. The Eagles yet to score. Be interested to see whether it was a push in the side or the back when we have a look at the replay, but it's on the scoreboard. The Suns with a major.
Just in a front half stoppage, or back half for West Coast. That was Tuke Miller by
standing
himself.
on his own.
No body. First possession, quick clearance.
Right at the front of the stoppage on his own.
Matty Knights would be...
Yeah.
Casbolt on McGovern, any issue with that?
Oh, it was in the side, maybe a touch early, but I reckon it was reasonably fair. But
just more upper shoulder region. Yeah, fine. Just good contest.
Got him off balance.
He is exciting too, Isaac Rankin, isn't he?
Yeah. Him and Ainsworth at ground level inside full 50, very dangerous.
Bailey Williams into the ruck for the Eagles, flicks it down. Anderson out of the middle for the Suns. Handball to McPherson. Handball misses Miller, allows in Redden for the Eagles. His handball sloppy to Gaff, but it gets there eventually. Chips on his left out to Petrevsky-Seaton. His first touch in a home and away game for the Eagles. He stabs it short, and Redden marks on the wing. Wants to come infield. A good kick to Jones. So Jones on the attacking points of the square, runs around on his left, drives it long to full forward, looking for Kennedy. Hands to it, Witts plays the rover. Handball to Ballard, soccers it off the deck. Out to Ellis. Now Graham for the Suns in the back pocket. Handball misses Powell. Redden onto it for the Eagles. O'Neill with it behind his back. Gets it on his boot. Snaps towards full forward. Langdon brings it down. Oh, Harlem Globetrotter stuff from Xavier O'Neill round the back onto the boot. And Langdon takes the mark. And he'll go back from 25 out, slightly left of centre, and try and kick the Eagles first.
I don't think it was quite as smooth as the Harlem Globetrotters, but it was pretty amazing touch.
Forgot the spin on the finger.
And the shorts aren't as good either.
The smallest player in that pack too took that mark. Pretty poor contest there from the Gold Coast Suns defenders. Had to get it to ground.
Langdon trudges in, boot to ball from 30 and drives it through the middle. The Eagles have their first. They're 1 straight 6. The Suns 1-1-7. We've played 9 minutes opening term Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden, myself, Ben Cameron, Bridget Lacey downstairs. Here's Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
I think that's really important for Langdon because he does a mountain of work and sometimes lets himself down with his finishing. So he'll get a nice boost off that and it just breeds a bit of confidence in the start of a game if you can hit the scoreboard.
Got a good opportunity this time of year. You know, injuries really cement a place.
Because he can find the footy. He gets himself into really good spots, works hard, but it's just that final finish that lets him down so often.
Earlier today, wins to Fremantle by a point over Adelaide and the Hawks over North by 20 from the restart. Witts palms it down. Tapped out the side by Ferrarini and it comes to Anderson. Kicks the Suns to left half forward. He can't find a teammate. In fact, it's missed everyone by a mile. The Eagles wanted insufficient intent to keep it in. They weren't going to get that. It's over for a boundary throw-in, about 60 out from the Suns' goal. All spun in at left half forward for Gold Coast. Witts against Williams. Witts front position, got both fingertips to it, down to Ferrarini. Kicks quickly inside forward 50, sliding out Lukosius. There's a holding decision behind that, though. It's going the way of the Eagles. Rankin had Robin, and he's got it at right full back. Gold Coast by a point, 1-1-7 to the Eagles, 1 straight 6, 10 gone in the first.
Rotham wants to head to the southern wing, drives it long in the Waterman direction. There to Witts. And Witts is able to mark. There's a free kick, though. Waterman was taken out of it. We get the free kick for the Eagles just backwards of halfway on the southern side. Waterman goes short. McGovern marks. Stabs it short. Back towards the southern wing and Petrevski-Seton. Gold Coast 1-1, leading the Eagles one straight. 11 gone first term. Petrevski-Seton kicks it into the mark. And out of play will get a throw in between wing and half forward for the Suns.
Gold Coast doing a really good job at that defensive zone at the moment. Really evenly spaced. Just giving the Eagles no easy outlets. Really good defensive setup by the Gold Coast.
By Bailey Williams and Witts. Witts in front, double palms it down. Anderson can't grab it. Nelson does, snaps around the corner, back towards the wing for the Eagles. There for the Suns is Powell, so too Miller. His handball errant, picked up by Petrevski-Seton. Now Redden for the Eagles. Handball to Nelson. Kicks the Eagles forward of the wing, looking for Waterman. And Ballard's there, he spoils it out. And we'll get a throw in between wing and half forward. No, in fact, out of bounds on the full, or a free kick. Picked out, it'll go the way of the Suns. So the Suns with it, across half back, and Swallow.
And Swallow kicks it down the outer side. Big pack up. Williams got a hand to it. Spill down to Nelson. Now to Petrevski-Seton. Has to backtrack by hand. This is Edwards. Hand pass to Hearn. Hearn will kick towards right half forward. Stretching. Ballard got a fingertip to it. Couldn't control it. Eventually over the boundary line for a throw in at right half forward for the Eagles. Miller's had it 4 times already. Redden with 5 for West Coast. Leading disposal winners on the ground. Will be put back in. Spun back into play. Both rucks miss it. Going up. Petrevski-Seton able to gather for the Eagles. Kicks inside forward 50. Nicely scooped onto Langdon. Running by. A shot at goal. Jones has kicked it. Lovely finish. Jermaine Jones gives the Eagles the lead. Their second of the day. 2 straight, 12 to Gold Coast, 1-1-7. And we've gone about 12 minutes in the opening term. He was just charging by, received the footy, didn't miss.
The hands from handballing at pace and people on the run looks a little bit different from West Coast. Not the feed out the back to someone.
Yes.
They look like they've just got a little bit more direct angle towards the goals.
Sometimes generally go through the front. Use a pivot handball rather than feed at the back and C-shape it, go around the other side. But really clean by Langdon at ground level. Jones turns up in support. Good finish.
He liked the goal a bit too. Punched the air 3 or 4 times in celebration.
Nat Nui and Chol in the ruck. Nat Nui slaps it down to Rioli in the middle. He bursts out of the middle. Kicks it long towards full forward, looking for Dixon. Ballard. A great intercept player for the Suns. Takes the intercept mark. Kicks up the middle towards Davies, arriving late. Hoff. They got into his back, picking it up for Fiorini. Advantage paid by the umpire. Looks for Ainsworth. Drops the mark on the logo. Puts pressure on himself. And a free kick. Holding the ball. It'll go the way of Edwards and the Eagles on the logo. So Edwards goes laterally to Gaff. 2 marks on the southern side of the ground. 2 straight 12 the Eagles. The Suns 1-1-7. Gaff kicks long towards the contest. Looking for Dixon. Graham with the fist for the Suns. Comes down to Sharp. Runs a little arc and kicks a dribbler along the ground.
Scooped up by Gold Coast. First time McPherson then tackled the ground. He was wrapped up by Foley. Strong tackling. 4th year in the AFL. His 8th game today, Foley. Now a chance to impress the West Coast Eagles hierarchy. Now he got it down to Gaff under pressure. Hurry to kick forward. Tap down into the middle of the ground by Langdon. It was clever. Found Williams. Hands it back. This is Dixon. Hands it off to Jones. Jones goes for his second goal. It's offline and then seen over the boundary line. Waterman was happy to slap it away from Ballard. So the Eagles will get, well, at least a neutral ball just to the side of the left hand behind post. Deep inside their forward 50. They lead by 5 points.
Forward 50 stoppage here for the Eagles. Nat Nui works his way to the front, tries to take it out of the ruck, then at ground level. Handball to Jones, handball to O'Neill, handball to Naish. Tries to jam it on the boot, smothered by Ellis, who then picks it up, gives a handball to Fiorini, kicks the Suns towards the wing. Looking for Casbolt, hand to it, Hoff front and square, gets a handball away for the Eagles. Rotham picks it up, back feeds a handball right back to the wing and Edwards. He'll chip it back to McGovern, defensive point of the square.
McGovern finds Naish. He's in jumper 36 today, normally Connor West's. But Naish kicking inside forward 50. Two Suns collide. Ballard and Graham. Ball spills back to Ballard. Tapped in his direction by Swallow. Kick towards the outer wing. Leaping up. Nicely worked. This is Ainsworth. Wheels around and puts it on the right. Deep inside forward 50. Eagles have the numbers. It's down the throat of McGovern. That takes the defensive mark.
Gold Coast trailing by 5 points. The Eagles 2 straight. The Suns 1-1. Here's Naish again, kicking long to half forward. Looking for Williams. Can't drag in the mark. Nainui's there with him. Tries to don't argue on Chol. Feeds the handball forward for Williams. Close to the boundary line. Collins right there with him. There's a whistle. The free kick, it'll come back and go to Naitanui.
It was just a high from Chol as he tried to fend off.
Ainsworth had to kick that 70 metres. Someone had to come at him at about 30 or 40. Present to him in front, so then to be able to connect to Rankin deeper.
Naitanui 60 metres out. He sets it up to the hot spot, top of the goal square. Collins spoils it down. Now they pile on. Langdon's there. Ellis there with him. Ball spits out eventually. The umpire lets it go. 15 out from the Eagles' goal. Davies jams it on the boot. Straight up and down. Lots of Eagles, lots of Suns there. It comes down to Lemons. He dribbles a little kick away. Fiorini runs onto it. Handball errant. Jones gets it back for the Eagles. Avoids the Ellis tackle. Onto Barris. High ball into the pocket for the Eagles. Ballard comes over with the fist. Sends it out of play. We'll get a throw in. 15 metres around from the Eagles' attacking goal. They're 2 straight 12. The Suns 1-1-7. 17 minutes played.
The Suns down at the moment. They're only going at 44% efficiency of disposal, so an area to tidy up on.
Spun back in. Naitanui almost took clean possession. Knocked away from him though. Scooped up. Davies gathers it. Gets a kick towards right half back. That was class to Rankin. And he marks. It's the second game, Alex Davies. Rankin moves it short. This is Fiorini. Sends it across half back. Looking to build again here, the Gold Coast Suns. Lemons decides to now go on a bit of a run. Heads towards right half back. Comes down the commentary wing, leading out sharp. Mark sliding forward. Or McPherson rather. Blonde hair there. Kicks inboard. Finds Fiorini on the logo. Fiorini kicks towards centre half forward. Chol's up and marking. Good control. Build up by the Suns. Chol wheels around. Kicks towards full forward. Back there. McGovern drops the mark. Spilled out. Edwards was there. He's tackled immediately by two Suns. It's going to be a ball up. Miller was one, Lukosius the other. McGovern normally would take those sort of grabs. This time it's going to be a neutral ball deep inside the Suns forward 50. They trail by 5 points, 19 gone in the first.
Umpire puts it up. Williams hooks it down to Jones. Handball away to McGovern. Now Rao trying to get involved. Swooping on it, Rankin, left forward pocket. Pulls it back to the top of the goal square. Williams drops it. Casbolt comes through. Tries to soccer it to his advantage. Rao picks it up. Might have been taken high. Breaks a tackle. Gets it off to Swallow. Off a step. Snaps to the goal line and Edwards is there. He marks on the last line for the Eagles. They lead by 5 points. 19 minutes played opening term.
Beautifully playing the role of goalkeeper. Short to Rotham. Hard up against the boundary in the right back pocket.
Just like Heath Chapman for the Dockers earlier today. Great game awareness.
Rotham beyond defensive 50. There's a massive pack there. Two Suns went up. Neither could mark. Rao was there at the drop. Got it on towards Powell. Now back to Sharp. Kicks up into the air. Chol went. Was spoiled. Still a chance. Swallow. Now to Fiorini. Hand pass over the top to Davies. Spins away from Barris. Gets the hands away and then kicks towards goal. No, he's put it towards right full forward and he's spotted a teammate who's been able to mark. And going back will be Rankin to have a shot. I thought for a second Davies was going to do everything. A spin, a little bit of showing the candy to get out of the way, a shot at goal, but instead it's fallen to Rankin to finish. A wonderful bit of skill.
Right place, right time. It's a fortune.
Tighter than a 45-degree angle. He's no more than 20 out. Isaac Rankin kicks the goal for the Gold Coast. It puts the Suns back in front. Just as we tick into time on in the opening term, 2-1-13 to the Eagles, 2 straight 12 on Stand AFL. He's got a second. Bridget Lacey's downstairs.
You just mentioned pre-game. I think it was Sharrod asked the question about whether Nick Naitanui would play more game time this season. He's already come off for his second rest today. I just thought I'd let you know.
Does it regularly to a quarter. We'd like to see him play more minutes.
Oh,
Like here,
it's put so much more.
arguably one of the best ruckmen
Responsibility.
in the comp.
Yeah.
There's knee injuries and things that we don't understand or know with their high performance team. What he's doing, they manage his minutes and loads and everything. It's today's game.
Back in the middle, Miller emerges with the football, dribbles it to half forward for the Suns. A couple of Suns miss it. Hearn doesn't, picks it up. Kicks towards the wing, bouncing ball. Langdon arrives, cleverly taps it towards Redden. Handball to Williams, handball to Nash, who's running around the southern wing. Looks and assesses his options, goes long to Kennedy, and Kennedy marks. He gave away a push to Collins, so Collins to get the free kick in the left back pocket.
Double action.
The former Docker. He drives it long towards Witts on the wing, brings it down in front. There to pick it up, well up, another former Docker. Used to playing the Eagles in derbies. Handball away looking for Witts, can't pick it up. Foley does for the Eagles. Gives it off to Redden, looks inside 50, trying to find Kennedy. Overshoots him, Petruccelli at the back, brushes a tackle, takes the bounce, puts on the Jets, kicks the goal. There he is, Jack Flash, showing his wheels and kicking the goal. And the Eagles have their third. They're 3 straight 18, the Suns 2-1-13. The Eagles by 5 points again, 22 minutes into the opening term.
As a defender, watching him run away for you, you'd feel like he had cement boots on. He has just the quickest turn of pace. He's going full tilt in about 3 steps, and you've no chance of catching that.
That's great composure. As soon as he realised he evaded
Had the
tackle,
space in front of him.
had the space, took grass.
He also had Jake Waterman out in the pocket, who was a last resort. If he did get pressed, he was going to pop it over to the left. You could see him looking to the left of his vision. But just great. Confidence in your pace, confidence in your skills.
Did the right thing, had a look, was aware of who was there, and said, no,
Had the game on.
I'm the best option. And kicked the goal for the Eagles. They're back in front. Ball bouncing around after Natanui got the tap. Gaff picks it up off the deck. They go back by hand to O'Neill to Foley. Davies smothers that kick. It spilled out to Rowell, the Suns. On the outer wing, hand pass to Miller. Races away himself. Took Miller. Kicks the Suns inside 450. Chol went. Couldn't get hands to it first time. Bobbles around. Lukosius missed it. It comes towards Rankin. Standing there, Redden. Rankin kicks it back. Miller gets a hand pass forward to Ellis. Ellis snaps and he goes. No, not quite. It hits the inside of the left goal post. You're talking millimetres from going through, but it's a minor score. 2-2-14 the Suns, 3 straight the Eagles. They're 18 points, 24 gone in the first.
Chol's got to take that mark.
Yeah,
Unopposed.
absolutely.
So Hearn with the kick in. Sends it out towards the southern wing. Seems to be the preferred side for the Eagles today. Natanui brings it to ground, follows up as the Rover, gives it out to Waterman. He snaps across his body to half forward. Collins out points Kennedy, and he's able to mark. And he puts a little bit of pressure on Collins, who turns it over. Rioli marks, kicks it to Kennedy. 52 out, chips it inside 50. Waterman's there, and he marks on his chest. 25 out on a 45-degree angle on the right-hand side.
Collins did an amazing job in that marking contest. Just rushed it. Just had to take his time. When you turn it over
I actually
that
think
quick,
he might have had a point there. He was suggesting that Kennedy, who was coming from behind him, just gave him a little push as he kicked it. And that impacted his kick, which overshot the target and turned it over and led to this. He just went to the umpire again after the Waterman mark.
They're going to change his mind.
Waterman comes in, sets it out to the left, brings it back slightly, kicks his first goal of the year. The Eagles have 4 straight. The Gold Coast Suns 2-2-14. West Coast leading by 10 points with 4 minutes to play in the opening term.
watched a lot of footy and I've never seen an umpire go, no, you're right, let's go back there where that incident happened.
I'll take that back off you. I agree with you.
They're just showing the replay of it now.
It's good
So
body.
Kennedy Collins takes the mark, then goes to kick it, and Kennedy just grabs him. What do you think?
No, was going to pull him down. That's not a push.
But he's saying
But-
he was
but he's-
he was touched before he'd been played on.
That's right. He's
Yeah.
gone back to take the kick, and before he's actually gone to play on, he's inside the protected
Yeah,
area.
there's no call of play on there yet.
Absolutely not. That's
By the letter of the law, he probably has
probably
an
had a
argument.
50.
oh, if you were the Suns, you would be furious because it's cost you a goal. The Eagles will get the centre clearance out of the middle. O'Neill kicks long towards right half forward. Ball bounces around, punched forward by Weller. Spills down again. Here's a chance for Naish to kick it long inside forward 50. Stretching Waterman. Couldn't mark under pressure. Will go to try to get it a second time. Fiorini put his head over the football. Tackled by Langdon. Locks the ball in. Held in. Ball up in the left forward pocket for West Coast. 10 points the difference in favour of the Eagles. 26 gone in the opening term. Natanui took clean possession, bursts away, tried to kick the miraculous from the left forward pocket and just puts it out of bounds on the full. Really would have needed to work that around the body from where he was. The Suns will have it, and they'll have it at right fullback, and they trail by 10 points. 27 gone in the opening term.
So Miller, the best and fairest, and now co-captain, kicks towards the wing. Casbolt hands to it. Picking it up, Hearn off the deck. He's tackled quickly. And we'll get a ball up between wing and left half forward.
Good tackle by Davies. Not too many players are able to take down Shannon Hearn.
All up at left half forward for the Eagles. Slapping it down Natanui. Fiorini gets a handball away. Rao dribbles out a kick. It goes straight to Redden. Handball to Gaff. Snaps across the body. Shallow inside 50 entry. Ballard in best position. And he marks on his chest for the Suns. 47 metres out from their defensive goal.
Gaff rolled inside. He has Hearn as a handball receive.
Well, shocking kick from Ballard. Set a task there for Swallow. Graham's there to help. His kick, not the required distance. So then Swallow, under pressure, kicks beyond the defensive arc. Miller can't mark. The Eagles are swarming. Handball from Jones away to O'Neill. Kick to the top of the goal square. No Eagles there. Ballard is there. Gives it off to Lemons. Cool, calm. Short kick to Weller in the back pocket. He'll then go with a low ball beyond defensive 50. Rotham leads his man Holman to it. Handball away to Redden. Caught holding the ball. Holman got Redden. And the Suns to get it back with right half back. But boy, they've made hard work of getting it out of their D50.
Holman kicks towards centre wing. Scholes there. 3 Eagles get in front of him. Barris was up, got hands on it. It ricocheted away and over the boundary line for a throw-in right next to the Suns' interchange bench. Interchange gates.
Toot
Both
Miller
correct.
may have scared himself a bit in that contest. Didn't really know what it was like being up in the air for that long.
Throwing in again, Witt's front position. Won it down, spills there for Petreski. Seaton bursts away for the Eagles. Beautifully weighted kick. He finds Kennedy, who marks it left half forward. The ball had to carry over a Suns defender for Kennedy to continue his run onto it and mark it. He's pointing at the big sticks. Will take a mighty kick from here. There's players lurking nearby. McGovern wanted it short. Kennedy glanced at him and then waves him away. Kennedy will kick from about 52 out. We're right behind it. He's given it the lot. It won't quite have the carry. Collins makes absolutely sure of it, thumping it through for a rush behind the first blot of the Eagles copybook today. 4-1-25 to the Gold Coast 2-2-14. 29 gone in the opening term. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and Sport Digital.
Weller to bring it in. Stabs it short to Miller. Marks 40 metres out from the Suns' defensive goal. West Coast leading by 11 points. Miller kicks long to the win. In the Wits direction. Doesn't quite drag in the mark. There at ground level, Hoff overruns the footy. McGovern picks it up. Sweeps out a handball to Redden. Handball to Langdon. Handball to Williams. Handball back to Hoff. He runs towards the attacking edge of the square. Takes a bounce. He'll drive it long. Nobody there for the Eagles. A poor kick and Ballard marks. Intercept mark for the Suns. Short to Weller. Weller heads towards the southern wing and Barris is there. In his milestone game, he takes the mark for the Eagles. And it'll be 50.
Oh, there's a chance.
So Barris will get marched downfield. And he's a chance, maybe,
Imagine
in
this.
game 100 to kick his first AFL goal.
Oh,
This will be amazing.
And don't think he won't get a text if he doesn't pretend to raise the bat.
He
What a
told
moment.
us he'd raise the bat if he kicked a goal in game 100. A father in the summer 26 years of age.
His teammates will erupt.
Oh, wouldn't they?
The defender on his left leg from 49. It looks pretty good. He's kicked it. The double cobra. They come from everywhere. Game 100, goal number 1.
Very good.
Just about had his head wrenched off by Josh Kennedy in that celebration.
You cannot wipe the smile off his face. It's a grin ear to ear, and he's raised the bat. He's done it. As he told us he would.
He flushed it too, didn't he?
It's a feel-good moment.
Game 100, goal number 1. Tom Barrass, who goes right back to stand in the defensive goal square. Eagles up 5-1 to 2-2. 31 minutes gone in the first. The kick is forward for the Suns from the clearance. Almost a big collision there. Foley going back with the flight of the football. Still there to be won across half forward for the Suns. Knocked forward by Rankin. Charles out to get it in the left forward pocket. As the siren sounds for quarter time. The Eagles 5-1-31. One of those 5 goals, the most unlikely of goal kickers in his milestone game, his 100th. The premiership winner, Tom Barrass, finally gets a goal. Not quite Rod Carter standards from the Swans, but a ripper nevertheless. The other goal kickers, Langdon, Petruccelli and Jones. While for the Gold Coast, they're 2 goals coming off the boot of Isaac Rankin. The Eagles are 5-1-31. The Gold Coast Suns 2-2-14. Wherever you're listening around the nation on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
If you've been through a disaster, like an earthquake, a fire or flood, you'll know they're overwhelming. I'm Dr. Kate Brady, and I work with communities after emergencies and research what happens in the months and years after these events. Join me for After the Disaster, a podcast to help you find your way through and beyond these life-changing moments.
Most people who are not in the community don't really understand the experience of disaster.
Find it on the ABC Listen app, the ABC Emergency website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Casbolt surely shoved over his opponent. In the meantime, it's bounced down to Rankin. He gets around his opponent and he kicks the goal for the Suns. That's the first of the day.
O'Neill with it behind his back, gets it on his boot, snaps towards full forward. Langdon brings it down. Oh, Harlem Globetrotter stuff from Xavier O'Neill round the back onto the boot, and Langdon takes the mark. And he'll go back from 25 out, slightly left of centre, and try and kick the Eagles first. Langdon trudges in, boot the ball from 30 and drives it through the middle. The Eagles have their first.
Tresky seat able to gather for the Eagles. It's inside forward 50. Nicely scooped onto Langdon. Running by. A shot at goal. Jones kicked it. Lovely finish. Jermaine Jones gives the Eagles the lead. Their second of the day.
Trying to find Kennedy. Overshoots him. Petruccelli at the back. Brushes a tackle. Takes a bounce. Puts on the Jets. Kicks the goal. There is Jack Flush, showing his wheels and kicking the goal. And the Eagles have their third. Barrass is there. In his milestone game, he takes the mark for the Eagles. And it'll be 50.
Oh, he's a chance.
So Barrass will get marched downfield. And he's a chance, maybe, in game 100, to kick his first AFL goal.
Oh.
On his left leg from 49. It looks pretty good. He's kicked it. The double cobra. They come from everywhere. Game 100, goal number 1.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Might have to check the nose for a nosebleed. Tom Barrass was so far up the ground. He finally gets his first goal. It was a feel-good moment in the stadium in his milestone 100th game. Other results to tell you about, of course, if you've just joined us on Grandstand AFL earlier today. The Hawks gave Sam Mitchell a win in his first game in charge. They beat North Melbourne by 20 points. And Fremantle, who did their absolute best at times to throw it away against Adelaide, somehow got back in front late and hung on. They won by a point over the Crows. A couple of other scores in the NBL. The Perth Wildcats have beaten New Zealand 95-85 in the National Rugby League. Newcastle 26 defeated the West Tigers 4, and the game that should have just finished. Canterbury were taking on Brisbane. Now, in the 74th minute, Brisbane had a 16-10 lead. It's gone full time, and it remains a 6-point victory to the Broncos. What are you making of this, though, gentlemen? The Eagles in front by 131 to the Gold Coast, 2-2-14, a 17-point advantage to the home side. Shane Woewodin and Sharad Wellingham.
For me, West Coast in complete control.
Yeah.
All 5 goals they've kicked has come from their front half. They've owned the territory battle, I think 17-10 inside 50s, and made it count. I think 4 from turnover. So their ability to defend behind the ball and set up behind the ball has been very good, West Coast, and they've repeat entries, put it back in, put Gold Coast under extreme pressure. And for me, Gold Coast's ball use, the inability to find a target by hand.
They were down around 45%.
Yeah, it was horrendous early parts of the game. And it's round 1, I understand the intensity goes up and whatnot, but really poor from their point of view for me in that part of the game.
I felt like West Coast really had their intent around the ball high, and then was set up, like you mentioned, really well behind. So they had the pressure on the ball carrier, and then when it went forward, it was a turnover, and they were able to repel, which we said was probably what they were going to have to rely on. But before that, at the stoppages, I felt it was pretty even. I think that I didn't know what the numbers were,
10
but
each.
So it's very even.
It's a turnover game.
It's been a turnover game at the moment. So, I think that was where they were going to be really struggling, and Gold Coast just haven't taken advantage of that.
No.
Raoul's, he's had some first ball gets and a few clearances, but they just aren't taking advantage of it. They got to get those first clearances and then use the Miller on the outside, break and carry the lines. That's really where they're going to hurt West Coast. But if West Coast are able to continue to put pressure on the ball and set up behind, it just doesn't look good for Gold Coast.
Chol, Lukosius and Casbolt, 2 possessions, 2 marks between them. No impact early.
Bounce of the footy. Natanui against Witts. Spills out the side.
That's elite.
Natanui, beautiful. Comes down again to Gaff, to Redden.
Which one was that? That was the flipper?
That was the flipper.
To Nelson. And then the kick's inside the left forward pocket. Almost a mark to Williams. Spilled out to Weller. He was tackled. Williams went again. Suns try to clear. Little miss kick in all that. Petrocelli gathers. Hand passes backwards to Redden. Out to Gaff. Oren straight into trouble. Wrapped up by Sharp. Gets him. Now that's a definite call of he did not dispose of the ball immediately after having an opportunity to get rid of it. Good tackle though. And Sharp will have the ball in the right back pocket. Goes on a bit of a run. Kicks towards centre wing, out of side. Natanui's front position. Almost had enough of it. Just lost it at the vital moment. Spilled down to Anderson. Got it to Rao of the Suns. Not a great hand pass back to Sharp. Bounces the handball along the line. Has it gone over the boundary line? I think it might have, yes. The umpire, who's about 30 metres away on the boundary, says as such it's going to be spun back in. Bridget Lacey's on the boundary.
Hugh Dixon starting this quarter on the bench. He's just got some taping they just put on his right arm and elbow area. And Nick Natanui ended up having 3 rests in that first quarter, guys, playing in about 6-minute bursts.
Natanui and Witts. Witts outpoints him on this occasion, brings it down in front. Rao trying to bulldoze his way through, runs into Natanui. It's not coming out just yet. Eventually it does. Redden snaps the Eagles forward. Nice mark taken or not paid to Powell. Gets a handball away to Weller. Suns at halfback. Collins coming through. Handball to Swallow. Handball to Miller. Kicks the Suns towards half forward. Holman's in some space. Waits for the bounce. Gives the handball to Ellis running by. Looks inside 50. Tries to pull back the kick. Ainsworth on the bounce. Tries to pull it across to Lukosius. Can't complete it. Down at ground level for Anderson. Handball away towards Rao. Has to run and track it. Has time. Chips into the pocket and eventually finds Sharp, who marks 35 metres out, a metre in from the boundary line in the right forward pocket.
Tried their hardest not to get a mark inside 50 then, didn't they?
It's great moving off half back.
Open side of the field. It was awesome, but then I think Holman just needed to take the initiative and get it inside 50.
Good pivot handball, created some overlap. Ellis kick inside 50 wasn't great.
So West Aussie, who's back home playing for the Gold Coast Suns. Sharp with the drop punt. And it was very narrow. Misses the lot out of bounds on the full. The Eagles to get it back in the left back pocket. Shannon Hearn will have it. West Coast leading by 17 points as they did at quarter time.
So Hearn sends it long beyond defensive 50. Big pack there. Front position Witts. Won it to ground. Kennedy tries to emerge with it for the Eagles. It bobbles up into the air. Nelson tried to slide through. Missed it. Witts. Clever hand pass off the deck. Found Miller. Goes back to Lemons. Dodges one way and then kicks into the right forward pocket, or attempted to. Good defensive mark right on the 50. It came to Foley, to Redden. Not sure what to do with it. Goes into the left back pocket to Rotham. He'll steer the ball low, flat and hard to Nelson. Marks on the boundary at left half back. Eagles lead remains 17 points. Redden's had it 13 times already in this game. As Nelson goes back to Rotham inside his defensive 50. Miller the best of the Suns with 11. He's Hoff.
Doing a good job here, Gold Coast, just holding them up. They've got that, the web, I suppose, is what it used to be called. They got the defensive setup really good behind the ball.
Hoff with disposal 5. Kicks to the outer side. Again, big pack up. No mark taken. Down towards Anderson. Just got a hand pass away before he was tackled. To Rowler bursting through. This is Miller. Miller will kick deep inside forward 50. Goes over the head of Chol and Barras. They turn. Chol gathers. Was he tackled without the football? The umpires look for it. No. It's kept alive. Snap from the Suns across the face of goal. Has missed everything. Ainsworth would like to have that back again, I'd reckon. And the Eagles will have the ball at right full back.
Casbolt just turned around and kicked it. In the goal square by himself.
So Hearn with it for the Eagles. Drives it low. Swallows there, he marks. So the Suns get it back. Looks inside 50. Trying to find Ainsworth. Slightly overshoots him. Allows in Rotham. Out the back it goes. And Barras taken high. He'll get a free kick. Casbolt a little overzealous. So Barras will flare it out wide. And the mark taken at right half back for the Eagles by Jones. Comes infield. Still at half back and Rotham. Feeds a handball back to Jones, who goes for a little run across half back. Takes on the Suns. Feeds a handball forward to Hearn. He goes back to Jones. Continuing his run. Low inside 50. Langdon can't quite pick it up on the half volley. Allows in the Suns through Rao. Handball to Ellis. Handball to Anderson. Handball to Ballard. And Ballard will kick to the wing. He finds Holman. Holman goes short. Now in plenty of space, Rankin at half forward. He steadies, spots up Casbolt, who marks 35 metres out. As good as directly in front. And this sometimes has been the tricky bit for big Levi Casbolt.
Langdon just had to tick a little bit earlier to make that kick a fraction easier for Jones.
Yeah.
At half forward.
Eat some of that space in front of him.
Turnover, missed the target.
Then Jones had actually followed it up, and then Langdon knocked it away from him.
So the 10-year blue, now a Sun. Drop punt on its way. It's a good drop punt from Big Levi. And he likes it. Gold Coast get the first of the second term. They're 3-2-20. West Coast 5-1-31. The Eagles up by 11 points at the 6-minute mark of the second term on Grandstand AFL. Shane Woden and Sherrod Wellington.
Again, so that turnover from Gold Coast, by West Coast, Gold Coast turned it over. Holman's quick turn then, instead of handballing to, he's got his left foot, just get it inside 50, and then that was the out number. Instead of last time waiting for a handball receive, he turned quickly and just got it into a target, which made West Coast have to make a decision.
That's right. Missed that kick, Jones. Top of the 50 there.
You got the Cobras out too. Big Casbolt.
He loves it.
He does. He's a big man.
Tommy Barras did say to us when you mentioned raising the bat, he said, I reckon I'll go with the double Cobra. He did.
That's right.
True to his word.
Was St Patrick's Day recently, so Cobras need to watch out downstairs as it was tapped down by Witts and then knocked forward by the Suns towards centre half forward. Rotham got there though, was able to pick it up, found Gaff, then to Jones, and Jones across half back, marking Nelson just inside his defensive 50. He'll steer it to the southern wing. This is Petruccelli operating in a bit of space, short. Petreski Seaton marks, wheels around, kicks inboard. Had to be precise, the kick. It was to Redden, who marks into the middle of the ground to Jones on the outer edge of the centre circles. West Coast controlling the footy at the moment. They lead by 11 points. 8 gone in the second. Jones for the Eagles kicks it deep inside forward 50. Waterman went a little bit early, I reckon. Couldn't take the mark. It spills to ground. Still there to be gathered. Scooped up. Oh, he comes there to O'Neill. He gathers, snaps and goals. He was just there for a second. And they did part like the Red Sea, the Gold Coast. Appropriate, really. And suddenly, O'Neill said, I can have a go at this. And he kicks the major. The Eagles back to a 17-point lead. 6-1-37 to Gold Coast 3-2-20. 8 minutes gone in the second.
Dixon had his name all over it.
Yeah, great. Hit that contest really well. But yeah, O'Neill, it was like all the traffic went one way and he looked like he kind of hid the ball and turned around and found himself in a nice little pocket of space in the middle of the contest and was just...
It's good by Jones. Take the grass.
Yeah.
Play on, get in. There was only one-on-ones. There was no mids to drop back.
Not that really deep entry where it can be rushed. It was 20 to 25 out, which allows those forwards to come at the ball and have confidence.
Brings the ground level boys into play.
Xavier O'Neill wearing a fairly famous number at the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah.
Bounce back in the middle. Bailey Williams decisively with the tap, but the Suns away with it. Miller off the Fiorini. Kick inside 50. Sliding out. Casbolt can't quite, but he'll get a free kick. Barris just over the shoulder, slashing his back. And Levi to try and kick his second. The mark set 35 out. Slightest of angles to the left-hand side.
You'd love to see him go up there and have a great season.
Oh, absolutely. He can catch everything, can't he?
Oh.
And this is the part of the game that we all know it's not one of his strengths. He can replicate the first one.
So to immediately answer for the Suns, he shanks it.
That was off the shin.
Wide left, 4 left, out of bounds left if you were playing golf.
It's a good hook.
That's on the road.
Yep.
It's on Labouchere Road.
Yep. On the road.
Take your drop.
Eagles beyond defensive 50. Williams up. Just getting a free kick here. Taken high around the neck. They'll have it at right half back for West Coast. Williams turns it straight over to Anderson.
Well, the kicks down the line have been that real 3-on punches, haven't they? Haven't given enough air for their tools to be able to compete.
We're using the golf analogies today. Anderson kicks and turns it over again. Gaff, was he taken high? He was.
Thought Sharrod sounded like he was speaking from experience.
He's got it at right half back. One day I'll get back on the golf course. Andrew Gaff will move it short and, dare I say it, chips it to O'Neill, who's got it up against the boundary line. West Coast 6-1, Gold Coast 3-2, 11 gone in the second.
O'Neill retreats back inside the defensive 50 to Rotham.
No switch on.
West Coast out by 17 points. Rotham, as you heard, with no switch on, will go down the line, tries to weight it to Foley, in front Fiorini. Ellis comes through, runs straight into a gang tackle. Eventually Nelson flicks out a handball to Gaff. A couple of Suns there though. Miller knocks it to Fiorini, soccers it forward, coming through. Barris going in low and hard and winning a free kick. Pick up the knock to the head. He's got a helmet of shaggy hair protecting him.
Good mop going, doesn't he?
So we'll get the free kick. Tom Barris.
You know who he looks like? Remember the old Doctor Who? Big mop of curly hair?
Yeah. It looks like
That's
the
who
kind
he does look like.
looks like the kind of mop that is surely the result of a bet or not cutting your hair for an extended period of time for some reason. As he kicks long to a contest on the wing. No mark taken, down in front again. Dixon picks it up, flicks it out to Gaff, jams it on his right boot, tumbles it forward, Langdon onto it for the Eagles. Handball back to Foley, runs a little arc, chips it well looking for Jones, but just over his head. And out of play it goes. We'll get a throw in, right in front of Bridget Lacey.
Nick Naitanui is just about to come back on the ground, but he does look a little bit sore. The physio was working on him on this break off on the bench, just on his back and hip area, so we'll keep a close eye on him.
I was about to say, speaking of haircuts who look like they've been made for a bet, Sam Collins has got one. Tap was down by Naitanui onto it. The 2-8s. Red slides to the ground. Fiorini stood there. Miller picks it up to Ballard for the Suns. The kick goes over the head of Chol. They're forced to go back. Showed some body pressure as well on Foley and then got a hand pass away. This is Ellis looking to move it short. Well done, Hoff. Punched it down, but it went to Rankin of the Suns. On in turn again to McPherson. Oh, straight into Barras. Came back to him, though. Then to Holman. Absolutely monstered. Crunched the ground by Edwards. Ball spills out towards the boundary line. O'Neill tried to shovel it along the line. It's off legs and over for a boundary throwing. Holman slowly will climb him up off the deck. Yeah, Collins has, well, the nose sideburns cut right up high. And then a really good-looking mow as well. He does look like something from the OK Corral as Natanui slaps it down. It comes to Willie Rioli. Big cheer for him from the Eagles crowd. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Waterman waited. Ballard won it to deck. And it's going to be a free kick against Ballard.
Chop of the arms, I think.
It was against Waterman, who plays on by hand and moves it to Jones. And quickly on by hand to Waterman. He'll put it out towards left half forward. Kennedy marks.
So Kennedy too far out to score, looks inside 50, called to play on now. Goes on his left into the pocket looking for Waterman. Oh, can't quite drag in the mark, worried out of it there by Powell, who then goes really low and well marked in the end by Took Miller in his right back pocket. Kicks across the face of goal to Caleb Graham. Suns Academy product. Moves it on to Powell, another one of the West Aussies coming home. Wasn't even in the WA State 18s. Wasn't picked.
Finished high in the BNF last year.
Yeah, Suns took him and everyone said, really? And look at the player he's become.
I never played State 18s, mate.
Kicks towards the wing.
Doesn't make the player.
Loose footy. The Eagles win it back. Foley dribbles it forward. I didn't either. Langdon kicks towards full forward. Looking for Dixon. Down there he goes up. Petruccelli at the back, onto the loose footy, suckers it through. He's got a couple, and that's a goal sneak special. Roving the pack, he puts it through. The Eagles 7-1-43, Gold Coast 3-2-20, West Coast by 23 points. 14 and a half minutes into the second term. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shameway Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
It's a great pick-up, Dixon.
Yeah,
isn't he?
Just putting start. Like that's just creating context.
That's all he does. You know, he's not going to catch everything, but the trust that his teammates have in him, just to, like, they don't know him all that well, and they'll build a relationship with him as time goes on. But just to be able to throw it up there, let him compete. Didn't quite kill the contest there. The Suns defenders just kept it in play like a soft drop. Allow Petruccelli to come in and just toe poke it over the line.
A couple of times he's been involved now, Dixon. Crashing a pack earlier and that time bringing it to ground. The bounce, Natanui tapped it to himself. Had another go at it as he fell to ground. Couldn't get it a third time. Fiorani steals it away. It comes to Anderson, a bounce and a lovely step past Hoff. Oh, and then another one. Oh, this would be something. He's run too far. Oh, well. He just took one step too many because, goodness me, he showed all the skills apart from the ability to count steps. And that's going to be a free kick to the Eagles. 7-1-43 inside their forward 50. They'll have the footy. Inside their defensive 50, rather. Gold Coast 3-2-20, 16 gone in the second.
So Rotham for the Eagles. Runs towards this northern wing, then kicks it high and long. Powell underneath it. He takes the mark. The Scarborough product as he goes short. McPherson marks. Now he looks inside 50. Can he find a target for the Suns? He sets it up towards full forward. McGovern glides in from the side and takes the mark. Although there's a free kick, it'll go to the Suns. Casbolt. He was taken unfairly out of the contest. And he'll get the free kick. 20 metres out, slight angle to the left.
To get into your front half, you've either got to lower your eyes and hit it about 35-40 or kick it off the line of goal where, because you've got Barras and
dropping back,
Oven just dropping into that hole every day of the week.
Casbolt carefully nurses it through, gets the desired result. And the Suns bring it back inside 3 goals, 17 points. Is the Eagles' margin. They lead by 7-1-43. Plays 4-2-26. 17 minutes into the first. What do you see, Sharad Wellingham and Shameway Woden?
Yeah, a little bit of an early engagement from Edwards, but
yeah, the umpire would have seen the arm around the front first, and that's what I would have.
And because it was the outside arm. If it had been the back of the other one, it could have maybe been a little bit...
He just had to engage his body.
Just a bit earlier.
Yeah, not really wrap the arm around.
It's one of those ones where there's not much in it. It's going to get given 99 times out
They're
of
looking
100.
for it. Yeah, they are. It's a big part of the game, anchoring your opponent, allow that third in.
So the Gold Coast, they respond back to 17 points as we were at quarter time from the restart. Miller got a hand pass away now, back to Chol, and he'll kick towards left half forward. No mark taken. Spills onto the ground. Davies missed it. Jones picks it up. Big don't argue to McPherson. Hands it away to Petrevski-Seton. Got tackled by Davies. Was he taken high? No, holding the ball. So it's going to come back here to Davies. He's got it at left half forward. And go short to Weller if he wants to. That's ignored. Instead, he'll put it towards the hot spot. Flying Foley, bounced off the back of Hoff, spilled down to McPherson for the Suns, to Sharp, to Rao, can't get away from Rioli, got a hand pass backwards, but not before umpires spotted a free kick.
Well, Rioli had to be very, very careful there with the...
Being demonstrative, it's handed off by the Suns. The shot at goal is going to be touched through. So Rao, who got the free kick, handed it off to Sharp. His kick not quite having enough on it. And then punched through by Hearn for a rush behind. 7-1-43 the Eagles, 4-3-27 the Suns. 19 gone in the second.
Hearn comes in short to Foley. Foley will run out towards right half back and then kick in the Bailey Williams direction. Collins spoils it down. Holman roves for the Suns. Gets a handball away to Swallow. Loops a handball to Fiorini. Tries to draw the man, then kicks into the pocket. Bouncing ball for Rankin. Off a step, kick smothered by McGovern. Bounces back towards Rankin. Soccers it forward. Petrevski-Seton over the footy. Anderson there for the Suns, fighting on McGovern. Handball out to Foley. Handball to Redden. Handball to Gaff. The Eagles off half back. Dixon loses it in a tackle. Now merging with it O'Neill for the Eagles. Maybe now it opens up. Kick into the middle, a good one. And he finds Jones.
Jones tackled, lost the footy in doing so. The umpire says, get it, play on again. Moves it on towards Kennedy. Runs forward to the centre circles and thumps it long towards full forward. Good spoil came from the Suns. Spills down to Rao. Rao's hand pass went towards Witts. Witts went short to Fiorini. His clearing kick only as far as Gaff is at right half forward. Stabs it inside to Williams. And Bailey Williams marks 47 from goal. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the right. Just couldn't get it clear of their defensive 50, the Suns.
It's been better today. Certainly than what I saw a couple of weeks ago. His work rate around the ground's been better. Compete down the line for him.
21-year-old Bailey Williams, 10th game of AFL footy. From right on the 50, it starts out to the right and it stays that way. Does it just sneak through? It does for a minor score. Another behind for West Coast. 7-2-44 the Eagles. The Suns are 4-3-27. 21 gone in the second term. Earlier today, Freo by a point over the Crows and the Hawks by 20 over North.
Weller with the kick in. Dangerous. Just finds its target, Swallow. Loops a handball to Rao beyond the defensive arc and they go quickly up the middle. Running onto it, Lukosius takes the mark. Out the back is Holman. He'll mark 20 out. Has a man on. Loops the handball. Ainsworth waltzes in. And dare I say it, in this game they've gone coast to coast. And the Suns kick the goal from the kick in. They got out the back. And Ainsworth the man on the end of it. 7-2-44. The Eagles lead the Suns 5-3-33.
Their backs were asleep, West Coast.
Yeah.
They had them all goal side.
Oh. Really, really damaging kick from Rao. Was it Rao through the middle?
Yeah, Rao off half-back to Lukosius onto Holman and then Ainsworth.
It's rarely seen from kick-ins these days.
Yeah.
Full ground presses in and not many holes, but everywhere then. Leak like a sieve.
From the restart, Witts won it down, gathered himself, hand pass back to Rao from the centre circles, wobbles a kick inside forward 50. Holman got a hand to it, couldn't mark, going back, Foley, Hand pass wasn't great. Lukosius was there. Instead picked up by Davies. Hand pass into the side of Foley's head. It bounced to Rao. 49 metres out from goal. He'll kick on goal, but he'll miss. To the left-hand side. A minor score. 10 points the margin. 7-2-44 to 5-4-34. The Eagles over the Suns. 23 gone in the second.
So Hearn with the kick in. Stabs it short to Redden. 10 points, the Eagles' advantage. Redden with plenty of the football. Disposal 16. Kicks towards Petruccelli. Tries to go upstairs, doesn't quite drag it in. McPherson onto the footy on the wing for the Suns. Handball to Ballard, back to McPherson. Dump kick towards half forward. Off there for the Eagles. Off will poke it short to Petruccelli. 7-2-44, plays 5-4-34, the Eagles lead. Petruccelli called to play on, so kicks forward of the wing. Looking for Jones, juggles it.
It's been good this quarter, Rail.
And eventually takes the mark for the Suns at left half back.
Goes across half back to Lemons, goes on a run to the defensive edge of the centre square. Kick towards right half forward. Only one player there. Barris has time to gather off the deck and move it beautifully onto the chest of Waterman. He marks on the southern wing, holds the ball in the left hand as he glances inboard. Nothing immediately presents. He'll get told to move it on. He'll go back to Barris. Game 100 and his first goal today. So a day to remember for Tom Barris. He stands at left halfback, wants someone to come to him. That's a lovely kick again. Perfect, just precise to McGovern. Had to carry over the top of Davies. McGovern didn't have to move. And off a step, he finds Redden in space at right half forward. Puts it into the right forward pocket. The kick didn't have as much on it as was required. Collins thumps it away from Dixon to see it over for a boundary throw-in. 40 out from the Eagles' goal. The right forward pocket will be spun back into play. The Eagles lead by 10. 25 gone in the second.
Matt Nui and Witts lock up, both with hands on it. Down to Rao, kick smothered. Ricochets away in the forward pocket for the Eagles, close to the line, Ballard. He sees it out again. They'll try again. Forward 50 stoppages for the Eagles. They lead by 10 points, closing in on half-time. Umpire brings it back in. Nat Nui takes it out of the ruck, jams it on the boot, floats it on goal, misses. To the right-hand side. Eagles lead back out to 11 points.
Very dangerous in that area, aren't they? This goes particularly with Nat Nui.
You almost think he's got the strength to try the Tommy Hawkins style of just muscling them out. And at the moment, he's trying to just tap it to himself.
Yeah, good call.
He could do the Hawkins style.
To Collins, to Ainsworth, has it at right half back. Moves it on to Fiorini, marks just shy of the southern wing. A replay of Ballard making Natanui's life a misery a few moments ago, bumping into him from the side. The kick is towards right half forward for the Suns. Front position was Davies. Miller tries to gather. Knocked to ground. Eagle in there. It's Edwards trying to emerge with it. Casbolt. Davies does get it. Surrounded by blue and gold jumpers. He's tackled. Ball goes to ground again. Hard work in here at the moment. Redden got it back to Rotherham. Bounces a kick towards the outer wing. Kennedy takes it. Backtracks. Short hand pass. Was meant to find Nash, who was tackled immediately. It's going to be a free kick. It's going the way of Miller. Miller will have it at right half forward for the Suns.
His appetite for the contest is enormous, isn't it?
Tremendous player for them, took Miller. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Good mark coming out together. Witts only had eyes for the football. There was a pack of about 7 underneath him. He hit the footy hard, got both hands up to it. He drags it in. He'll be having a shot at goal from 40 out, probably about 5 or 6 metres in from the boundary.
It's funny because the free kick against, was it in the forward 50 against, who was that?
We'll come back to that one. With Witts on the left, ugly looking kick at goal. It's across the face, it's off hands, it's over. It'll be a boundary throw-in at left full forward. More from you in a second, Sharity, with a chance to think about that.
Casbolt's one.
Casbolt's one.
Yes.
Downstairs is Bridget Lacey.
At the risk of making our tech Marty very happy, there have just been a few drops of rain, so hopefully nothing more to come.
Oh, it's raining in Bridget's here. Should have stood in my garden during the summer, Bridge.
Nat Nui taps it down back towards the boundary, tracking it Rowell, and Watching it over, we'll try once more.
It's one of the certainties of football that it will rain when Bridge is downstairs.
18 disposals for Matty Rowell today. Witts works his way to the front. Bounces back to him, jams it on the boot, floats it on goal. It just floats the left-hand side of the goalpost, which means it's a behind. 5-6-36 the Suns. The Eagles 7-3-45. We've got just over a minute until the main break.
So Hearn stabs it towards Redden. Punched down by Miller. Did he get his arms? He did. Free kick to West Coast. Closing stages of the first half. Redden kicks beyond defensive 50. Weller attacked the football and then slapped it forward. Holman onto it. Petruccelli tackles him. Got a hand pass away though to Ellis for the Suns. Kicks back inside attacking 50. Great fly! Coming in from the side. Simply stunning. That's a huge grab to Lukosius. There was about 4 players there. Lukosius attacked it, came in from the side, leapt up in the air, caught it at its highest point, and for all those things, had Edwards flying over the top of him as well. He can have a shot from about 40 out. It's a tight angle to the left.
Good mark.
Glanced inboard for just a second. Now his eyes will go back on the big sticks. 21-year-old, just 9 goals in a 61-game career. It starts out to the right. It doesn't deviate. He's missed. Minor score. 5-6-36 the Suns. 7-3-45 the Eagles. 29 gone in the second. West Coast leaders 9 points.
Such a beautiful kick. You'd expect him to finish that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
It was just offline. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Beautiful drop. Looked magnificent off the boot.
Smooth.
But it was just always missing to the right.
Put the 4 sticks in front of any of us and it can make it difficult. Free kick. And it won't matter because the siren sounds. Well, Tuke Miller says he wants to have a go. Well, no one's back. He goes with the barrel. It's offline. Ambitious. Tuke. But he was at the Suns at the same time as Malcolm Blight for a little while, and I'm sure he heard the stories. So I thought he'd give it a go. Not to be. 7-3-45, the West Coast Eagles lead the Gold Coast Suns 5-6-36. And they kicked the last 2 of that second term, the Gold Coast Suns 3-2 in that second quarter, the way of the team in red.
So having a look at the goal kickers for the West Coast Eagles. It's a couple to Petruccelli and then singles to Barris, to Jones, to O'Neill and to Langdon, while for the Gold Coast Suns, Rankin's got 2, Casbolt's got 2, and Ainsworth the other goal kicker. 7-3-45 to the Gold Coast 5-6-36. Suns make their way off the ground. The Eagles down beneath our broadcast position get, I wouldn't say it's a standing ovation, but plenty of Eagles fans have stood to show their appreciation for this it's injury and COVID hit side, missing 16 players unavailable today, the Eagles. And we know that the Gold Coast, without a couple of their superstars, or their superstar with Ben King, handy pickup in Charlie Constable missing as well. This has been a solid performance by the West Coast Eagles on their home turf. 7-3 to 5-6. What have you made of things? Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham here on Grandstand AFL.
Much better quarter by Gold Coast. Yeah. Won the quarter, statistically won it. Scoreboard won it. I thought they got to work a bit better around the contest through Miller and Rao.
Rao was massive.
Fiorini's chipped in a little bit too, but I thought at the contest, ground ball gets their plus 14, I think, for the quarter. So, started to work to more contests, started to win the ball a little bit more, and played it more in their front half of that quarter. So, it's a tick for Gold Coast that quarter.
I feel like they were set up really well behind the ball when they did get it inside their forward 50 as well.
Yeah,
West Coast
absolutely.
West Coast didn't have any transition football, and so that just goes to show that they were able to contest, get it forward, and then set up behind it, which was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Much better. So a little bit of a bake maybe from Stewie Dew at quarter time, or a little bit of a Stern talking to. Starts to put himself back in the contest again.
I still reckon they got another gear.
Absolutely.
I think they've got another gear to go to. They haven't quite taken advantage, I don't think, of their midfield dominance. They've had the clearances, but it hasn't been clean.
No.
Take away from it. It's been get first hands and get a quick kick, whereas I think that they should be trying to transition through
hands a bit more.
Yeah, which will just open up the whole ground.
Break the lines a bit more.
And it'll feed into them not kicking it to the contests in the forward 50 for them, and won't have McGovern and Tommy Barras being able to be there to turn it over.
Yeah.
It'll be in play, where they can't affect it as often.
They certainly can improve that area, can't they? Their connection inside 50. I think they're probably kicking the ball too deep, and it just brings those big key backs into play a little bit more. You know, and just mung the ball on the ground a little bit more, because their ground level players are, I think, too dangerous for the West Coast defence at the moment. But they've held up pretty well. It's an even contest at this stage. So, it's an arm wrestle.
Into another good game.
Yep, it's an arm wrestle at the moment. So, plenty of players win the ball. I think Jack Redden's been good. It's good to see Jones take another step in his footy. I think he's had a great pre-season. He looked pretty lively in the practice game period, and even today.
I like him getting the ball up around almost the defensive half of the middle, because he is really creative when he gets the ball. When he gets it in deep inside the forward 50,
you're stifled, aren't you?
You're stifled. Whereas I love it because he does like to link up, and he often tries to find an option that not many other people will go for.
Yeah.
And that link-up play from him is awesome.
Another thing, and whether or not this is Matty Knight's stamp on his midfield group too, and the injuries do happen, we understand the seniority, but the flipping of the magnets and the centre square bounce attendance from the West Coast midfielders have been, it's unheard of. You always see the same 3 or 4 or 5 that go through the centre square, but it's good to see Rioli and Jones and O'Neill, and they're starting to flip the magnets a little bit more.
Xavier O'Neill looked good in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's great to see. More opportunity. You've got to see how these guys can play.
Assess Willie Rioli for me. There's so many Eagles fans who are so excited about him returning. First opportunity in 2 years to play at this level after his ban, his suspension. And then Willie returning got completely overlooked because of all the injuries and all the issues COVID-wise that the Eagles have had. What do you made of what he's been able to do today?
He's been quiet.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a hell of a lot. I think he tended the first centre bounce. I think Sherrod pointed that early in the game, and he's played that mid-forward role. It's tough when you've missed so much footy, isn't it, at this level?
I think he's been able to put a little bit of not huge amounts of pressure, but it's been also pressured where it's a further out from where he's traditionally known to be putting that forward pressure. But I still think he's put some good pressure. Yeah, he's put good pressure on the ball carrier, but he doesn't have that transitional running at the moment where you'd see him finding space through a bit of smart running. He's not probably doing that today, but that'll come. It might take 3 or 4 weeks of being able to do that in tight contest stuff and then break away and find it. Whereas at the moment he's trying to be reliant on his craft and trying to get a little of his patterns around the stoppages, and forward 50 craft has been pretty good. Hasn't got on the end of anything yet, but I've been trying to take note, and his patterns have been good, but he hasn't had any extended.
No,
he hasn't had any extended on the efforts. So, but that'll come.
Shane Woden, Sharrod Willingham, our experts on Grandstand AFL here at Perth Stadium. It's half-time and the Eagles lead by 9 points, 7-3-45 to the Suns 5-6-36. We'll give you a score update very shortly, and of course the second half to come. The Suns right in this. Can the injury hit Eagles hang on? There's a lot to look forward to as the sun sets in the west and on round 1 of the AFL in 2022. But right now, let's pause and take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has again strongly condemned the siege of the strategic southern port city of Mariupol. As Russian tanks and troops engage with Ukrainian forces in fierce street fighting, the bombardment goes on in the city of hundreds of thousands of people who are cut off from food, water and medical supplies. Mr. Zelensky says the siege is terror.
The blockade of Mariupol will go down in history as a war crime. What the occupiers did to this peaceful city is a terror that will be remembered for centuries to come. The more Russia uses terror against Ukraine, the worse the consequences will be for it.
Meanwhile, there are unconfirmed reports that Russian forces have bombed an art school in Mariupol that was being used as a shelter. Around 400 people are believed to have been inside the building. These residents who fled Mariupol described the conditions in the city.
There is no Mariupol. We sat in the cellar for 10 days and did not leave once. We neither had water nor electricity.
There were constant airstrikes. We were all sitting in the cellar.
An award-winning filmmaker who's returned to Ukraine says there's a strange dynamic at play in the city of Lviv. Mark Wilkins fled his home in the capital, Kyiv, just over a fortnight ago with his wife, Olga, and as the Russian invasion intensified. However, the British-Swiss citizen has told ABC News Radio they felt uncomfortable with their decision and came back to make a series of short films about the crisis to raise money and awareness. They're in the western city of Lviv, where he says there remains a semblance of normality.
But then we also have, the restaurants open and the coffee shops are open and people are going to work. And that's very important, on one hand to support the economy, but also to somehow give a certain stability and routine to everybody.
Outgoing South Australian Premier Stephen Marshall's resigning as leader of the Liberal Party after last night's election loss. Mr Marshall says it was a great privilege and honour to serve as the state's 46th Premier and leader of his party for 9 years. He says while he was disappointed by the election outcome, he'll take full responsibility and accept the will of the people. The Labor Party under leader Peter Malinauskas is set to form a majority government. 3 people are in ICU as WA records an additional 5,626 new COVID-19 cases. Just over half of those new cases have been confirmed by PCR testing. There are currently more than 36,000 active cases in Western Australia, with 155 people in hospital. More than 10,000 PCR tests were carried out yesterday. Detectives at Geraldton in WA are appealing for information about a violent robbery that happened on the side of the Northwest Coastal Highway on Friday night. A woman had parked her vehicle about 5 kilometres south of the Billabong Roadhouse when she was approached by a man. She noted the man had been driving behind her in a utility. The 20-year-old told police she was assaulted and believes some property was stolen during the incident. Police would like to speak with anyone who saw or who has dashcam vision of a Holden, Colorado utility with a black bull bar and an alloy tray on the highway between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Friday. Police are searching for a gunman after a man was shot and seriously injured in Sydney's western suburbs. The 39-year-old victim was standing outside of a home when he was attacked. He suffered significant blood loss before paramedics stabilised him and rushed him to Westmead Hospital. Forensic investigators are at the scene and police believe the attack was targeted. A woman is dead and 3 other people are injured in a 3-car crash southwest of Melbourne. Emergency services were called to the scene at the corner of Swan Bay and Queenscliff Roads at Swan Bay just before 1:30 in the afternoon. A yet-to-be-identified female has died. 3 people in the other cars are in hospital with minor injuries. Police are investigating the crash. The Australian selectors have named an unchanged 11 for the men's 3rd cricket test against Pakistan, which gets underway in Lahore tomorrow. The series is locked at 0-0 with 1 test to play. Australia will again play 2 specialist spinners, Nathan Lyon and Mitchell Swepson. Captain Pat Cummins says there are no fitness concerns despite the gruelling first 2 drawn tests.
Everyone's pulled up really well. Yeah, we gave it an extra couple of days to make sure everyone's come up good, but there's no injury worries. Everyone's freshened up. Yeah, confident with the 11.
And England's made a thrilling 1-wicket win over New Zealand in the Women's Cricket World Cup game in Auckland. Batting first, New Zealand was dismissed for 203 in the 49th over. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Hi, I'm Sam Hawley, host of the new podcast ABC News Daily. This is the show that will help you understand the issues affecting your world. Every weekday morning, you'll get one big story from the news source you trust, told by the journalists you know best, in under 15 minutes. Find ABC News Daily on the Listen app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Now in plenty of space, Rankin at half forward. He steadies, spots up Casbolt, who marks 35 metres out. As good as directly in front. And this sometimes has been the tricky bit. the big Levi Casbolt. So the 10-year blue, now a Sun, drop punt on its way. It's a good drop punt from big Levi, and he likes it.
Bills to ground, still there to be gathered, scooped up. Oh, he comes there to O'Neill. He gathers, snaps and goals. He was just there for a second, and they did part like the Red Sea, the Gold Coast. Appropriate, really. And suddenly O'Neill said, I can have a go at this, and he kicks the major.
Looking for Dixon, down there he goes up. Petruccelli at the back, onto the loose footy, suckers it through. He's got a couple, and that's a goal sneak special. Running onto it, Lukosius takes the mark. Out the back is Holman. He'll mark 20 out, has a man on, loops the handball. Ainsworth waltzes in, and dare I say it, in this game they've gone coast to coast. And the Suns kick the goal from the kick-in.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On AB Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Great you could be with us wherever you are listening around the nation. It is half-time at Perth Stadium. The Eagles lead by 9 points over Gold Coast. 7-3-45 to the Suns 5-6-36. The game well and truly up for grabs. A couple of other scores to bring you up to date with. A thriller in Adelaide today. Wonderful effort too in the dying stages. Heath Chapman playing the goalkeeper for Fremantle to give them a 1-point win. And able to knock the ball back into play. There's about 15 seconds left in the game. Game awareness, 10 out of 10. And the Fremantle Dockers survive a genuine fright with a 1-point victory over the Crows. 11-17, 83 to 12-10, 82. The earlier game, Sam Mitchell. It's been 18 years since Hawthorn had a new coach at the start of a season. And Sam Mitchell begins his era in charge, taking over from Alistair Clarkson with a 20-point victory over North Melbourne, 11-12-78 to North, 8-10-58. In the National Basketball League, the Wildcats had a 10-point win over New Zealand, 95-85. In the National Rugby League, there'd been two games today. The Newcastle Knights beat the West Tigers 26 points to 4, and Brisbane beat Canterbury 16 points to 10. Ben Cameron has, or is about to have, all the stats in front of him. The scoreboard shows the Eagles leading 7-3 to the Gold Coast Suns 5-6. What do the other numbers tell us, Ben?
Yeah, some of the basic numbers, reasonably close. So Gold Coast, 178 disposals, West Coast, 177. Contested possessions, Gold Coast, plus 14 in that area. Clearances, Gold Coast, plus 5. Inside 50s, West Coast, 26 to Gold Coast, 23. Marks inside 50, Gold Coast 7, West Coast 3. Leading ball winners on the ground, Jack Redden with 19, Took Miller with 19. In terms of metres gained, looking at Took Miller again, 461, and Shannon Hearn with 353 for the West Coast Eagles. They lead by 9 points at the main break.
So the Gold Coast Suns looking to win against West Coast for the very first time here in the West. And they did look a little bit better in that second half. The Eagles, if you've just joined it, there were no late changes to either of these two sides. And the Medi subs, Sexton for the Suns and Winder for the West Coast Eagles. The Eagles making, giving 4 players a club debut today. One of them a league debut, Brady Hoff, taken at pick 31 in the 2021 National Draft. The 19-year-old from Peel Thunder who was playing country footy, bush footy really, and came up to Peel, had a go in the Colts and then got spotted from there. Now has his opportunity to play for the Eagles, making his debut in round 1. And the other debutants for West Coast, Sam Petreski-Seaton after 94 games and 20 goals with Carlton. Hugh Dixon, one of the most interesting changes. It's been a long time since a player has moved from the Fremantle Dockers to the West Coast Eagles. Hugh Dixon becomes, I think, just the third of those. Greg Harding was one and Trent Carroll the other off the top of my head. So Hugh Dixon makes his club debut after 1 game with Fremantle, and Patrick Naish after 9 games with the Richmond Football Club. He's on debut for the West Coast Eagles today as the Eagles make their way back out in this second half. The Suns on the ground at the same time as well. What do you think from here on, gents? A lot of questions about how West Coast were going to perform with so many players who would walk their way into this starting lineup. And again, I mentioned for those around the nation, the likes of their captain, Luke Shuey, missing with a hamstring. Elliot Yeo out with a calf injury for probably the next 3. Sheed will miss with an ankle problem for the next 8. Oscar Allen still in a moon boot. He's expected to be out with a foot injury for another 5. Duggan missing with a knee problem for at least the next 2. We suspect Jack Darling might be another 2 to 3 weeks away with a foot injury. Cripps will be missing out with a pec injury till 7. So I'll get your thoughts on how this young Eagles or inexperienced Eagles side will go in the second half in just a moment. But Bridget Lacey's got some news for us downstairs. Bridge?
Yeah, it was clear all through half-time, I have to say. We've just got a few more drops of rain just now, and a glorious rainbow has broken out over the top of the stadium. So it's quite picturesque down here at the moment, guys, but I'm hoping that that rain does stay away.
The golden hour, as the photographers call it. We can see the rainbow to the Graham Farmer Freeway end. It does look magnificent. Very pretty sight here.
I thought that was just an Instagram thing. I didn't realise that was an actual photographer's term.
No. Well, it got pinched from genuine photographer's term by our social media colleagues, which I know you're right across. Influencers. Yes, indeed. Sharad, Shane, how do the Eagles continue on with this? That'd be you, Sharad Willingham.
He's more across it than me.
Well, where's Michael Broadman?
I think I've done 2 posts on Instagram in the last 2 years.
I bet you had your shirt on in all of them, unlike Michael Broadman. Hello, Michael, who'll be joining us in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, look, I think that the beauty of having youth in the West Coast side is that they come out with that excitement and eagerness to perform. But now the second half is really where they've got to make sure that they can still be relied upon to bring that excitement, because they're going to get tired. First game of the season already, you blow up at halftime and you do struggle towards the back end of those first few games. So it's going to be really tough. And then on the other end of the scale, you've got all, the aged group who are, probably going to have to do a bit more than they'd like to. So it's going to be really tough. And I think that Gold Coast have got a great opportunity here to make the most of that potential fatigue.
And that balancing act between Nick Naitanui, when he's on the ground, they're so much better, but you don't want to have a situation where you overplay him and perhaps he gets himself an injury.
True, but he's fit. I'd like to see him push forward more when he's resting and be a force up front and see if he can take a catch.
Second half underway. Here's Ben Cameron.
Naitanui and Witts. Naitanui slaps it down, going after it. There is Miller. Naitanui follows up, flicks it out to Gaff. Handball looking for Redden, picking it up quickly as Petrevski-Seton caught holding the ball. The Suns will get it. Free kick going to Lemons at centre half back. Lemons drives it to half forward, looking for Chol. Clean bowls them all. Inside attacking 50. Hearn attacks it. Holman keeps his feet, snaps around the corner, trying to find a teammate there in Rankin. Knocks it out into the path of Chol. Controls it. Sockers it off the deck. Puts it through. He was like a round ball world game footballer. Controlled it with the boot and then finished it with the socker. A side foot finish. And the Suns with the fast start in the second half. They're 6-6-42, the Eagles 7-3-45. Less than a minute played in this third term.
Great collect by... Who was that?
Rankin.
Rankin? But it was awesome. Oh, Hoffman. And he's just turned, tap out, one touch, and then the follow-up. It was absolutely beautiful.
Like Rankin's play.
Ronaldo would have been happy to do that.
Yeah.
Well, the delivery from Rankin, the slap between the legs straight to Chol, who took a touch, then was able to coolly convert. That was top-notch from the Suns. Naitanui wins the restart down in the middle, but the Suns, they shark it away. Rao onto Anderson, kicks inside forward 50, pack of 4 up, off hands. McPherson out after it. Hoff taps it towards the boundary line. Holman tries to gather and then got bumped over the line by Hearn. It'll be a throw-in, left forward pocket for the Suns.
We heard a lot earlier today about how Rochelle has a soccer background.
He turned down Melbourne City, didn't he? Contract?
He did.
Man City.
Don't think he turned down a Man City contract.
As I said, they own them. Tap down. Rankin racing by. Gathers hard up against the boundary. He kicks towards goal. It's just missed. It's hit the left-hand post. Wow, the Suns, they're up and about to start this second half. 6-7-43 to the Eagles, 7-3-45, a 9-point lead for West Coast. Suddenly, he's just 2.
The Eagles haven't run out of the race yet for this second half. McGovern goes short onto the chest of Gaff. 2.5 minutes played in the third term. Gaff goes short to Foley. At right half back, wants to kick it with a 3-quarter kick that's well weighted onto the chest of Redden. Had more of it than any other Eagle today. This will be possession number 20. A short chip to Hearn. Still backward of halfway on the southern wing. Comes infield to Foley again. Now Foley potentially looking as if he'll go further afield. He does. In the Natanui direction. Can't quite get to it. Dixon comes up. Tries to gather. Eventually does. Tackled by Rowell. He's taken to ground. And the umpire to ball it up. 3 minutes played in the third term. West Coast lead cut to 2 points. It was 9 at the break.
Witt swings it down. Miller might have been held without it. Comes out the side. Quick hand passes from the Suns. Comes to Anderson. Kicks to left half forward. Chol goes to ground. Barris stands up. Then got a hand pass back to Robin for the Eagles. Umpires spotted something. West Coast, they've taken the advantage and they are able to move it around to Hearn. Got it originally from McGovern. Oh, Hearn stepped off his line. Holman tackles him. Hearn gets a hand pass forward. Foley, he's tackled by McPherson. They turn it over the Suns. The kick from Lukosius, inside forward 50. Sharp marks, plays on, runs into the open square, kicks the goal. Sends the ball into the second tier and puts the Suns in front. 7-7-49 to the Eagles, 7-3-45. Now the play on call was made, and it was a very quick one too, which saw Hearn tackled and resulted in the turnover.
Look at the Lukosius kick to Sharp.
On a dime, wasn't it?
And Nash wasn't goal side, but they did have the ball, so he was in offence ready to go.
Incredibly now, this is the 8th game of the 9 fixtures in round 1. We've seen a lead change in the second half.
There you go.
Quite incredible. The Suns have kicked the last 4 goals, 2 either side of half-time. The Eagles haven't kicked one since the 15-minute mark of the second term. Back in the middle, Natanui lays it down. Soccering it off the deck though, Witts out towards the wing. Gaff goes in low, slaps it out to Redden. Cruising by Foley, gathers, pinpoint pass looking for Waterman. Ballard right there with him, and he's impeded. So a free kick going the way of Waterman. Wants to kick it towards centre half forward, finds Redden, who's had it on a string today, inside 50, and Rioli marks. 47 metres out, a slight angle to the left-hand side. And Willie Rioli goes back to start his set shot routine. Complete with the Babe Ruth point at the goals.
Nice to see him finish this one.
The Eagles need a spark. Can Rioli provide it from 51 metres out? He drills it through the middle. 927 days between drinks for Willie Rioli. And the blue and gold make sure they get around him. The Eagles take back the lead. 8-3-51 plays 7-7-49. 6 minutes into the third term. He comes to the bench and you'll hear the cheers for Willie Rioli.
He flushed that too. It's a great finish. It's a good change of angles by Waterman, wasn't it?
Yeah, really nice. Had 3 options. They were all lined up across the top of the 50.
Gold Coast sagged off.
All dropped back too quick, thinking that there was going to be the deep entry, and just went around.
Will make a difference for this West Coast side, Willie Rioli. And returns with a goal after 2 years in the wilderness. Restart, tap down by Witts. Almost as far as Foley though. He missed it first time. O'Neill tried to slap it out over the top. The Suns not making enough of an effort to get this out here. I thought the umpire might have paid for a second a free kick. Instead, it's going to be a ball up. Lukosius, the player who was over the top of it for Gold Coast. Thrown up, Natanui just tapped it down. He wanted O'Neill to get to it. He couldn't. Foley could. Tackled immediately by Witts. Wrapped up. Strong tackle. And got some assistance too from Anderson. It's on the attacking point of the centre square for the Suns at right half forward. Both rucks had a touch. Spilled out the side. Taken there by Anderson. Kicks high up into the air. Inside forward 50. McGovern flies and he marks between fullback and centre half back for the Eagles. The kick is towards the outer side. It's perfectly weighted, but it's perfectly weighted for Powell, who marks. Has it for the Suns. Kicks towards centre half forward Miller. He'll get the free kick. He was up into the air trying to mark and was infringed. And he'll have it 55 out from goal right in front. Thought about playing on by hand to Weller, who ran by. Has he got the distance, took Miller?
I think he does.
He reckons he does. Boots cross the centre square. Gives it a thumping kick. It's a terrific kick. It's a wonderful goal. Took Miller. That was terrific. Gold Coast back in front. What a seesawing contest we've got in this third term. The Suns are 8-7-55. The Eagles 8-3-51. 9 gone in the third term. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital. Clint Wilden in commentary alongside Ben Cameron. Here are our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woden.
To me, he's best on ground at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not only just they've been accumulating, he's doing it all. He's 5 or 500 metres gained already as an inside mid, so that's the damage.
It's been steady. It's been really steady. It hasn't been in bursts. It's just been consistent throughout the whole game so far.
It's become a star. Hasn't it?
Genuine. Like he's carved out of marble as well.
Oh. Granite.
I don't know, the last time he ate a carb is out of the middle come the West Coast Eagles. They turn it over. Powell gets it across halfback. Handball from Fiorini. Away to Powell on the wing. Powell to Rowell, that was confusing, and then out of bounds at left half forward for the Suns.
It's great to see Matty Rowell back.
It is.
And playing good footy.
Looks unencumbered too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks free. He's finding the footy and accumulating like he did when he first started.
13 contested possessions and 5 clearances, just a truck.
It's a great sign.
Umpire spins it back in. Natanui laying it down in front, then picks it up, bursts away with the footy, jams it on the boot. High ball towards neutral territory on the southern wing. Powell. Another really good young player on the rise. He's got it on the southern wing for the Suns.
Thumping kick. He'll send it deep inside forward 50. Barras went to ground. Was the umpire spotting a free kick in all that? What's he going to say here? It is going to be a free kick to the Eagles, but it wasn't to Barras. It was to Edwards in that pack, and he takes it and goes short to Gaff in the right back pocket. So Gaff moves it beyond defensive 50. This is Rotham. Rotham, ugly kick down low. Petreski-Seaton was set a task, wasn't up to it. Witts gathers, sends it inside forward 50. Lukosius. It wasn't Petreski-Seaton's fault. It was a disappointing kick from Rotham.
That's a terrible kick, isn't it?
So it'll come back now and an opportunity for the Suns to stretch their lead and go back-to-back with Majors.
Just on that backward step. Didn't have his momentum going forward.
Got to organise your feet, don't you? Very important off stationary kicking.
So Lukosius pretty much right in front from 49 metres out. Sends it on its way. It's out to the right. It misses to the right. A minor score. 8-8-56 the Suns. The Eagles 8-3-51. 12 gone in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
He really is a beautiful kicking technique, Lukosius.
Oh, he isn't it? Fluent.
Flushes it.
But he's had a beautiful kicking technique that twice has gone beautifully to the right-hand side. Rather get the flower bag through the middle, wouldn't you?
Late fade.
Yes. McGovern drives it out towards the southern wing. Contest there, out the back it goes. Langdon comes through, loses it in the tackle. Now a loose footy. O'Neill knocks it out. Rowell jams it on the boot, goes inside attacking 50. Fisting it down Barras. The Suns arrive. Davies misses Ainsworth with his handball. Hoff comes in.
Good boy.
There's a free kick. He went hard and low, won the free kick off.
Didn't change his line, just went at the ball.
Fantastic. So going to be wrapped with that.
Hoff will chip it out towards halfback, overshoots the target. It tumbles out. We'll get a throw in between wing and left half forward for the Suns. Kicked 5 of the last 6 goals in this game, the Gold Coast Suns. Are down by 23 points at the quarter-hour mark of the second term. Now lead by 5 points.
Back into play. Witt's got a fist on it. Skidded off the knuckles and then picked up by Ainsworth and then tackled, dare I say, monstered to ground by Nick Natanui. Alongside him, Jermaine Jones. Thrown up again. Witts again got the tap. Rao put himself over the top of it. Emerging with it, O'Neill burst through, spun around, kicked straight up the corridor. Backing back, Kennedy got crunched by his own teammate in Waterman. They're both okay, they're up. Rioli gathers, sees an open goal square, dumps it long. He needs a lucky bounce. Sliding through, tapped over, rushed through by Ballard. Just for a moment, that was going to be a 70-metre goal on the bounce from Willie Rioli. Not to be. Minor score, 8-8. Plays 8-4, 13 gone in the third. Suns in front.
You have to see that from Waterman, don't you? You see your teammate going to mark uncontested. Go and crash him.
Nearly knock him out.
Knock him out.
Suns bring it in quickly. Towards right half back. Caleb Graham goes long towards the wing. Natanui hands on it. Down in front, McPherson floats a kick forward of the wing for the Suns. Rotham back there for the Eagles. Handball to Hoff. Lukosius has got him. Caught holding the ball. So Lukosius to have it. 70 out from the attacking goal for the Suns. Tries to find Casbolt and delivers it beautifully for Casbolt. 30 metres out directly in front. Gee, it's a beautiful field kick. Sorry, Wowie.
Yeah, no, you're right. Very good inside 50. That's gone 40 metres and just popped it into a hole. It's good vision. There's the decision, being brave with it.
Casbolt comes in and hooks it hard left. It was an ugly ball drop, an ugly result. And it's 5 points, the Gold Coast lead. Quickly downstairs, Bridget Lacey.
Isaac Rankin just came to the bench looking very sore. He's getting taping around his right thigh right now.
It's not great news.
It's got a mattress around it.
If it's serious for Rankin, he's a key for the Suns. Child drops a mark. Somebody get it again. Just shy of left half forward to Weller. Hand pass to Swallow. Look to move it forward again. Eagles are able to intercept. Gaff. Hand passes away. Now through Naish. They'll kick towards right half forward. Good mark there. It's Dixon. Eagles stream forward. Dixon pauses for a moment, then sends it deep inside forward 50. Back was Kennedy. Couldn't mark. Petrocelli got harassed off the football. Davies picks it up for the Suns. Hand pass to Powell. Can he break the tackle of Jones? Just. I'm not sure if that was immediate, but they gave him some time to get a hand pass away. Rowell kicked towards the outer side. Casbolt couldn't mark. Goes behind him, and then McGovern's over the boundary line for a throw-in. Now, from what I've seen in vision so far, because we're not lucky enough in the West to be invited along to speak to Chris Scott and these sorts of things, but I would have thought that that was a 360, and I reckon there wasn't delivered or wasn't got rid of immediately and probably should have been a free kick.
I definitely agree. I think that he spun 90% of a full circle.
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't think the tackle had complete control of him. I'm a bit with you, Wowie, that he was sort of standing on his own volition. The tackle didn't really have him.
Free the hands, time, bang, pop.
This is why our game's so difficult to umpire. 4 blokes in the room and 50-50. We'll go again on the wing, another ball up.
Well, last year I would have agreed with both of you. And that's the difference now.
Because there have been a couple this weekend
where that's been paid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Chol slaps it down, and we'll get another ball up in the middle.
It's not the first time I've been confused. It certainly won't be the last.
The hardest game in the world to umpire is Fiorini. Jams it on the boot, tumbles it to half forward.
Particularly when rules and interpretation have changed every year.
Yeah, and again, I make the point that just with what we've seen so far this round and what we were shown on the television shows, that immediate, he was being held, he was still moving, but he'd been held.
The umpire to spin it back in. Chol slaps it down in front. Davies picks it up for the Suns, runs into traffic, gets a handball away to Sharp. Handball to Weller. Cuts back into the traffic on his left. Kicks the Suns towards the forward pocket. Barris drops the chest mark. That allows the Suns in. Picking it up. McPherson snaps towards goal. Bouncing ball. and Harry Edwards able to knock it through. A minor score.
Just didn't get any purchase on it, did he?
1 goal is the Suns' lead. 8-10 plays 8-4. 17 minutes is how far we've travelled in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
Unlike West Coast, we're nearly halfway through the third, and they've only taken 4 marks inside 50.
Yeah.
And Kennedy hasn't taken 1.
Hearn, thumping kick beyond defensive 50. It's a big one. One down to ground by the Suns through Chol. Jones was clever, tapped it twice to his own advantage, couldn't pick it up, slapped it into the path of Gaff to Rioli. Look away hand pass, didn't go where he wanted. Willer might have been held without it. He'll get the free kick.
Mind you, I thought Kennedy in the first half had played a lot higher.
It's a concern for West Coast with so many of what you would consider their starting team missing, having to bring makeshift players into the side, whether they'd be able to continue to run the game out as the Suns through Swallow go towards right half forward. Big fly. No mark paid though. McPherson went up, spills down. Comes now though to the Eagles in Hearn. Gets a kick that bounces past Swallow of the Suns. Onto it quickly. Anderson moved it forward. Only as far as McPherson. Now to Ellis. To Rankin, clever hand pass, bounces along the ground to Ryan half forward. This is Ainsworth, centering kick towards Chol at full forward, dropped the mark, got rid of his opponent, has time to gather, now went one way, then the other, snapped around the body, last line of defence, McGovern marks for the Eagles and quickly into the right back pocket.
Dropped the pudding.
The Suns aren't taking their chances. Naish out of the back pocket for the Eagles.
He broke Gaffey's ankles as well then.
Handball to Williams, handball to O'Neill, back to Aish. Naish rather, kicks towards the wing. And Rioli slides in and marks. So on the southern wing, Willie Rioli for the Eagles. Suns lead by a goal. Rioli's kick is shocker. Turns it straight over Anderson.
A JK all by himself.
Bobs up and marks for the Suns. Chips it short. Finds Fiorini. Runs a couple of steps. Thumps it long into the pocket towards Casbolt. McGovern over the top. Spoils it away. A throw in at the junction of 50 in the boundary line. Suns by a goal. 19 and a half played. Third term. Suns setting out west as it does on round 1 of the 2022 AFL season.
Spun back in. Williams wins it down for West Coast. Rao got there first. Tackled, wrapped up by Naish. Ball spilled out. Umpire circled for a moment. They allow play to go on. Casbolt tried to go back by a hand. Suns have an opportunity through Anderson. He tries to go with the outside of the boot from left half forward. He's just seen it over the boundary line and indeed into the crowd. About 2 rows back. It'll be a throw-in, but touched on the way through. Throw in the left forward pocket for Gold Coast. They're heading to the right of our broadcast position, the city end of the ground in this, the third term. Williams won it down again, but straight to Rao. He smothered the kick, Williams. It spilled out to Jones for the Eagles. Hand pass to Gaff, still in the right back pocket. Kicks beyond defensive 50, bounces the way of the Sharp. Sharp for the Suns, kicks it back towards left full forward. Barris goes to ground, so too does Davies. It's picked up by Foley, and then he's pushed over the boundary line for a throw-in, right where we were about 20 seconds ago. Gold Coast lead by 6 points as we head into time on in the third term on Grandstand AFL from Perth Stadium. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary.
The Eagles' defence bending but not breaking at the moment. Williams slaps it down, looking for the boundary, or boundary side at least. Miller coming through. Now Gaff onto the footy for the Eagles at fullback. Jams it on the left leg, kicks beyond defensive 50. Tracking after it, Fiorini. Handball to Swallow. He'll snap the Suns back inside 50. McGovern's there. Fists it down. Maybe could have marked. Comes to Rankin. Chips at Rioli. Massive hit on Matty Rowell, who stays down. The umpire says play on. Comes to Naish. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Rioli's onto it. He thumps it forward. The Eagles have the outnumber. Waterman chips it over the top. Dixon's there. He'll waltz into the goal square and go bang! Dixon's first goal in Eagles colours and scores a level. The Suns check on Matty Rowell. The Eagles celebrate. And we've got a tied game here at Perth Stadium, 22 minutes into the third. Does Willie Rioli have anything to worry about?
No.
Shane Woden, Sherrod Wellingham.
No, absolutely nothing. They were both just, it was a marking contest, two players colliding in a marking contest.
Now he's got up and he's in the centre circle again. He's a tough bugger.
That's a team lifting moment. That's something that everyone gets up for, not just how it ended up in the goal, but with that sort of contest and that sort of impact from Willie Rioli. I love the Dixon goal. Rao looks okay. Thumping hit though. The Eagles will get the clearance. It comes through Redden. They'll kick inside forward 50. Petruccelli marks left half forward with a 50s marked on the ground. Jack. Does he like his chances? He doesn't. He puts it towards the teeth of goal. No one can take a mark. It spills down to ground. Ballard looked to get a hand pass out. It was held in there. Umpire will ball it up at full forward for the Eagles.
It's a nothing kick to that one, really, wasn't it?
He didn't have anything to worry about in terms of being concussed then, did he? Got straight up?
Rao?
No,
he got he was down for a little bit, but I have a sneaking suspicion it was just the impact. It wasn't.
I reckon it hit him in the. I reckon his hip hit him in the chest.
Yeah,
rather than the head.
There's no doubt it hurt, but it wasn't the head from what we could gather. As the Suns try to get a hand pass beyond their defensive 50, trying to gather Waterman got tackled immediately. The game has lifted since that collision and since that goal. Scores are level 9-4. Plays 8-10, 58 points apiece, 24 gone in the third.
You remember round one last year? It was 1 point at three-quarter time. The Eagles ran away with it. It's a threadbare West Coast. How much have the Suns grown in the 12 months? The Eagles with it at half forward. Petrevski-Seton, handball to Nelson. Handball back to Petrevski-Seton. Plenty of time. Chisels the ball into the pocket. Pick up by Petruccelli. Snaps from 45. Hits the post. Oh, it would have been special. The half-volley pickup was clean. The snap was very nice, but it hit the post. 1 point is the Eagles' lead. Could be the 1 point at three-quarter time again, like round one last year.
It was a touch of deja vu when the fixtures came out. I saw it was Gold Coast and West Coast to begin. And as you quite rightly said, Ben, the margin was spot on. Three-quarter time last season as the Suns through Ellis kick towards a pack on centre wing. No mark taken. Ball spills to ground. It's been locked in. And McPherson tackled there by Hoff. Ball up will be the call. Throwing aloft. Natanui palmed it down with the right. It came to Rao though. Gets a kick around the body to right half forward for the Suns. Now, holding decision here. Suns thought they were going to have that, but it was against them, and Edwards was the player being held by Chol, and Edwards will have it at left half back. Steers it beautifully to Petruccelli, marking a couple of metres from the boundary in front of the Suns bench. Will steer it back again to Edwards. Stabs it towards the defensive point of the centre square at left half back. Foley marks for West Coast. Puts it back inside defensive 50. Roll them in acres of space. Marks goes looking for Langdon. Langdon up against Ballard. Ballard does enough to knock the ball to ground. Naish soccers it forward for the Eagles. Getting there first, Dixon. Hand pass to Langdon. Not a great hand pass. It bounces to Kennedy. Got two to beat. Might have been taken high. Umpire says play on. The Suns are able to turn it over. And they thump it back from whence it came. It'll tumble over the boundary line from the boot of Graham. What will the umpire say? It's going to be a throw-in. Perhaps not quite sufficient intent, but he's got away with it. The Eagles lead by a point. 26 gone in the third here on Grandstand AFL. ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Umpire spins it back in. Rucks on the logo. Natanui spikes it forward for the Eagles. Anderson onto the footy for the Suns. Handball to Ballard. Handball knocked down by Gaff. His handball knocked down as well. Close to the boundary line. Langdon picks it up for the Eagles. Naish off a step. Floats a high ball to half forward. Collins underneath it. Marks for the Suns. Wants to go quickly. Does so to Wellis. It gives the handball to Miller. Bursting through the middle. Handball to Weller. Looks inside 50. It finds the target. Dropping the mark, Holman. Ainsworth coming through. Knocks it on. And the Eagles are back. Barras away to Rotham. And out of their D50 to Redden.
Chance for West Coast here. Redden finds Petruccelli. He's got runners going by. They're ignored for a moment. He'll kick instead over the top to Gaff, who marks and plays on. Runs to right half forward. Kicks inside forward 50. Dixon got crunched by Graham. Ball spills out the back. It's there now for Kennedy, and he'll kick the goal. It's what he does best. Their greatest ever goal kicker gives them a 7-point lead at the 27-minute mark of the third term. West Coast at 10-5-65, Gold Coast 8-10-58. Here on Grandstand AFL, Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
D50 transition, got numbers back, got good support.
Beautiful outlet kick from Rotham in that deep defensive 50.
Jack Redden.
I thought maybe it was the wrong option when they got to the wing. A little bit of hesitation from Petruccelli, but ended up being the right decision, popping it over to Andrew Gaff. And, his composure then, I thought maybe he might just blast away and go deep, but waited for something to pop up and change the angle a little bit. Brought it a bit further inside. A great end-to-end transition.
Great goal.
Josh Kennedy, the oldest man on the ground today.
He's getting some serious grey through the beard as well now, JK.
If you do go quick inside 50 and you can't set up your defence behind the ball, Gold Coast didn't close out the outlets.
Back in the middle, neither ruck really jumps. Jermaine Jones cuts a sway through them, takes a bounce as he runs a little arc, now kicks the Eagles back inside 50. Graham goes up, puts his big fist through it, up and down it comes, still inside the forward pocket for the Eagles, eventually out of play, a throw in. Just a couple of metres inside the attacking 50 for the Eagles. They lead by 7 points, they've kicked the last 2 goals. Nat Nui and Witts. Witts works his way to the front. Nat Nui juggles it, takes it. Witts might have gotten his back. Umpire says no. Powell feeds the handball forward for the Suns. They run off halfback. Miller wants to go with the outside of the boot, looking for Lukosius. Hearn there for company. Neither can mark. They follow up at ground level. Now onto the footy Ellis. Handball away to Lukosius again. Gathers about 70 from home. Runs a little arc. Dribbles the kick inside 50. A poor effort. Picking it up at speed. Hoff did well. Handball to Hearn for the Eagles. Handball back away to a teammate in Foley who chips it for Hoff.
I think they've turned outside all game.
Out of bounds on the full. So Lukosius looks towards full forward. Scholl on the lead. Can't mark. It bounces off his chest. And then Naish will just dump it on the boot and clear the danger for the Eagles.
Into the middle of the ground. Rioli went, couldn't mark. They might turn it over. They have. The Suns will have it. They'll kick into the right forward pocket. Fiorini is able to find a teammate in Rankin, and he marks. Deep in the right forward pocket. He can have a shot at goal if he likes, putting boots a ball from right on 50. He'll be looking for his third.
Opportunity just to take a breather.
Yes.
It's been up and back.
It's been quick for a little bit.
Entertaining stuff. Can Rankin bring the Suns back within range? He kicks from 50. Not a bad looking effort. It's not quite going to have the carry, and it's thumped through defensively by the Eagles. A minor score. 8-11-59 the Suns. 10-5-65 West Coast. We've gone past the half an hour mark. The Eagles by 6 points.
Hearn really short to the pocket. Able to find Harry Edwards. Harry Edwards wants to thump it long to the wing in the Nat Nui direction. Witts there with him. Eventually Powell handballs it back in play. Gaff onto the footy. Thumps it on his left boot towards half forward. Tracking it back there, Swallow. Wins it for the Suns. Handball to Weller. And he sees it out. Plays some tunnel ball and we'll get a throw in between wing and half forward.
Only been playing at half a ground, West Coast, or 2/3. Haven't created the width like they have done in the past. You can see a real significant difference in how they're attacking.
Nat Nui slaps it forward, slash boundary side, going after it. Petruccelli, and again it's out. They gain a few metres. So about 60 out from the Eagles' attacking goal. They lead by one straight kick. 32 minutes into the third term. Set up for a grandstand finish.
Lights in full effect at Perth Stadium as Natanui wins it down. Redden out after it, getting their first Foley. Broke the tackle of Rao. Ugly kick, skids along the ground. Gaff tries to take it. Can't do so under pressure. Ellis was in there. Natanui piles in. Ball up the decision. Three-quarter time closing in. Is there one last throw of the dice here for the Eagles in this quarter? Natanui palmed it down. Rao missed it. Naish dives on top. Got a hand pass out the side to Redden. Battling with Rao. The ball's over the boundary line. And that'll do it. West Coast, their lead is 6 points. It was 17 at quarter time, 9 at half time. Now just a goal the difference between them and the Gold Coast. 10-5-65 to 8-11-59. The goal kickers for the West Coast Eagles. Petrocelli has 2. Willie Rioli, after 927 games or days without a game, has 1. Dixon's got 1. Barris with his first of his career. Jones, O'Neill, Josh Kennedy, Langdon and Waterman off the Gold Coast Suns. Rankin has 2. Chol, Ainsworth, Miller and Casbolt, the other goal kickers for the Gold Coast Suns. It's a 6-point ball game in favour of the West Coast Eagles wherever you're listening around the nation on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital. This is Grandstand AFL.
Autumn in the garden. Prime time to be sowing veggies and giving your patch an overhaul. The April issue of ABC Gardening Australia magazine brings you expert advice for growing garlic, carrots, button mushrooms and leafy greens. Learn how to design a potager and which flowers are great to dot among the veggies. And don't miss Sophie's new series on starting a garden from scratch. Gardening Australia magazine available from newsagents and abcmagazines.com.au.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Inside attacking 50. Hearn attacks it. Holman keeps his feet, snaps around the corner, trying to find a teammate there in Rankin. Knocks it out into the path of Joel. Controls it. Suckers it off the deck. Puts it through. He was like a round ball world game footballer.
The kick from Lukosius inside forward 50. Sharp mark, plays on, runs into the open square, kicks the goal. Sends the ball into the second tier and put the Suns in front.
Redden, who's had it on a string today, inside 50, and Rioli marks. 47 metres out, a slight angle to the left-hand side. The Eagles need a spark, and Rioli provide it from 51 metres out. He drills it through the middle. 927 days between drinks for Willie Rioli. Comes to Rankin, chips at Rioli, massive hit on Matty Rowell, who stays down. The umpire says play on. Comes to Naish, kicks into the middle of the ground. Rioli's onto it. He thumps it forward. The Eagles have the outnumber. Waterman chips it over the top. Dixon's there. He'll waltz into the goal square and go bang! Dixon's first goal in Eagles colours and scores a level.
Dixon got crunched by Graham. Ball spills out the back. It's there now for Kennedy, and he'll kick the goal. It's what he does best. Their greatest ever goal kicker gives them a 7-point lead.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
We've had some rippers today already. Hawthorn came from being 21 points down to win by 20 against North Melbourne. The Dockers led, lost their lead, came back and hung on by the skin of their teeth. They beat Adelaide by a point in Adelaide. And here in the West, to wrap up round 1, the Eagles lead by 6 points over the Gold Coast Suns. Let's get the thoughts of our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woewodin on Grandstand AFL.
Well, Sharad, I thought the Suns actually dominated the quarter, particularly time in forward half. Had, +8 inside 50s more, but just not as effective as what West Coast were when they went forward. So, the Suns dominate around the ball, +23 in contested footy, +24 in ground ball, +6 in clearance. So all the contest stuff is really good, but on the outside, in the uncontested game, West Coast have been the more dominant team today and a team that's been a little bit more effective when they do go forward and taken more of their opportunities. So
I think that when they've done a rebound as well, they've been more effective off a turnover.
Yes.
So the turnover game for West Coast has always been one of their strengths, maintaining possession,
8-2 from
grafting
turnover.
their way down the ground. But they've done it a little bit differently today in that they've been willing to go a bit faster, which has been nice. Change a couple of angles going inside forward 50, which worked.
But
you're exactly right.
One more too, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly right. And they haven't won many of those contests, but they've been able to set up and I suppose reset from those either boundary line or a stoppage. But I think that Gold Coast should take a lot away from the way they've played so far.
Doing a lot right.
Doing 90% right, but just aren't able to capitalise and make the most of their opportunities. A few poor inside 50s that might not have been the right target or even just execution. A couple of missed set shots. So they're putting themselves in the right place, but they're just not taking the chance when it's there.
Miller was quiet that quarter, but Noah Anderson stepped up and had the 9 or 10. So he was very quiet in the first half, Noah Anderson. So again, just cobbling the midfield. But again, an arm wrestle. It's ebbing and flowing, periods of the game. West Coast will be on top. Gold Coast, so interesting last.
Couple of numbers, Ben Cameron.
Yeah, leading ball winner on the ground, Matty Rowell with 26, Redden with 25. Contested possessions, Gold Coast plus 23. Inside 50s, Gold Coast 42, West Coast 34.
A round one win would mean so much for both of these teams. We're underway in the final term. Natanui got the fingertip touch to it, but straight down to Miller of the Suns. Kicks towards centre half forward. Hoff couldn't mark. Hearn tries to tap it forward. Holman steals it away. It comes to Rankin. On in turn to Aigler. Charles all on his own in the goal square. He puts it into the second tier for his second. Scores level in the opening 19 seconds of the final quarter. Wow, they went straight up the middle, the Suns. 9-11-65 Gold Coast, 10-5-65 the Eagles. What a game we've got here in Perth Stadium.
Hoff nearly turned it over, but just the, I suppose, ability for Gold Coast to sweat on that and then just quick hands, just sawed them apart with that handball.
I think it was Rankin's handball. Didn't break stride, Ainsworth.
Out in front of him, full tilt.
Nat Newey hit it right down Miller's throat at the centre bounce. Yeah, very good goal.
Clean, clinical,
slick.
I love the quote from Mick Malthouse this weekend that winning's not a big deal in round one, but losing is. As out of the middle comes Nick Natanui, who gives it off to Rioli. Away to Jones, has time to steady on the left, and answers right back. Smooth moving on the left. A slick finish, his second. And the West Coast Eagles
like his game.
Respond immediately. 11-5-71 plays 9-11-65. They're out by a goal again. Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
Yeah, I'd liked it too.
Yeah, quick reply.
Always good. Rioli coming out the front of the stoppage is always a good sight. But yeah, Jones, I think, he's added something different look, plays a different kind of game to a lot of the other midfielders. And
he's got legs.
Yeah,
he's using them too. Got to put the foot down, and it's a difficult role when you're playing mid forward because you're playing mid and your work rings high, but then to go forward,
you got to go in there and you go to the graveyard shift.
Yeah, it's not an easy role to play. It's probably the hardest role in the field to play.
Former Cat looking right at home after a season or two in the West. The Suns win the clearance, comes to Anderson, kicks into the right forward pocket, diving out Lukosius. Tumbling, rolling mark, and he'll bob up and he'll be able to have a shot at goal. 45-degree angle to the right. He'll kick from 45 metres out.
That's 3 centre bounces, 3 goals within a minute.
If he kicks it.
If he kicks it. The 666 rules made a huge impact on the game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Jack Lukosius without a goal today. Right on 50. Kicks on its way. Starts out to the left. Does it swing back enough? Oh, it has. It has indeed. We're level again. Remarkable game of footy. What a quarter. What a start to this final term. Lukosius, he's finally got the goal that he probably deserves. And we're all square. 10-11-71 the Suns. 11-5-71 the Eagles. 3 minutes gone in the final term. And you called it early, but you're spot on. Shane Woden.
A little high cut off the tee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The other ones have
faded
gone dead,
back.
The other ones have gone dead straight. This one he actually started
Swung it
out and
out.
swung it back in.
Was it Anderson at the stoppage as well?
Yes,
It was
yeah.
just lightning breakaway. It was really, really dynamic movement that he had in there, and that's what you want to see. Nananui trying to do maybe a little too much outside, keeping it in tight, and just sweating on them.
Witts knocks it forward from the restart in the middle. Nat Nui then knocks it out towards Redden for the Eagles. Sweeps a handball to Rotham. Rankin tries to close him down. Rotham steps him. Handball to Gaff. Gaff snaps it forward of the wing. Nice pick up, Petruccelli. Handball too hot though for Jones. Lemons gets it and comes back the other way. Kicks a long ball to half forward. Foley in front of the pack.
Good.
Nice mark.
A big third quarter.
Your man, Shane Woden.
I like Foley. Uses it very well.
Foley kicks back towards the wing. Nobody able to mark it. At the back, Miller. Handball to Lemons. Handball back to Weller for the Suns. A little bereft. Gets a handball back to Lemons. Caught by Jones. Just got a handball away. And then Ballard thumps it long towards half forward. Going up, Chol. No mark.
Spills out towards Lukosius. Tried to slap it into the legs of Hearn. He won't get away with it. Ricocheted over the boundary line for a throw-in. 71 points apiece. 5 minutes gone in the fourth. The round, the way it's been played, deserved an epic finish. You might just get it. Thrown back in. Witts and Natanui. Natanui tapped it to ground. It hit the deck. The Eagles, with Rioli off the ground, gave it to Nelson. Kicked quickly towards left half forward. Good defensive mark. Ballard was there. Now he stepped up his line, I would have thought. The umpire says no, but now tells him to play on. Wobbly looking kick down the southern wing. Didn't have the distance that Witts was hoping for. Dropping back into the hole. Nelson marks for West Coast. He's got it at left half back. Pauses for a moment. Goes back from whence it came. Towards left half forward. Leaping up, Powell. Got in front of Waterman. Got a fist to the footy. Slid off the knuckles and is over for a boundary throw-in. Left half forward for the West Coast Eagles. Scores level. 11-5 plays 10-11. 71 points each. 6 minutes gone in the last. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary.
Nui and Witts lock up. Eventually the Suns emerge with the footy. Miller loops a handball over the top. Gets it onto Rankin. Cuts back into traffic. Handball to Rao. Rao goes long towards Scholl. Up he goes. One hand to it. Barras stays down. Gets a handball away to Hearn. Eagles in their back pocket. McGovern loops a handball. Barras trips over his own feet. And carries it out.
That's intentional.
And we'll get a throw in.
And the other Eagles know it too.
Yeah,
it's a try.
It's
a rugby union try.
Well done.
Miller from that stoppage, first possession, gives it, and got it about 25 metres away from the stoppage.
Give him an Oscar. Umpire throws it back in. Nat Nui to Gaff. Tackled by Rao though. There's a whistle. Free kick. It's going to Rao holding the ball. Mark set 45 metres out. A 30-degree angle to the right-hand side. And any score from Matty Rao would give the Suns the lead. He gives it off to Weller. And no score, out of bounds on the full. It stays a deadlock. 10-11, 71 plays 11-5, 71. 7 minutes into the fourth.
Hearn stabs the pass. Short to Nelson. He marks in the left back pocket.
Game awareness by JK there.
Yeah. Right on it, wasn't he?
Nelson kicks high up into the air. Beyond defensive 50 with the kick. Natanui got hands to it first. Spill down though to Collins. For the Suns to Weller. Now to Ellis. Dual premiership player for the Tigers. Kicks inside forward 50. Attempted spoil. Came there from Casbolt. At the back. Barras was able to work it away. Now Edwards kicks beyond defensive 50. Comes to Jones. Just got the kick away. Collins shot ricochet off his legs. He'll pick it up. He'll try to take on the tackle by Waterman. He can't shake him. Surely holding the ball. Surely holding the ball. He's run straight into the opponent. He has took him on. That is Pryor, and Waterman's nabbed him. Umpire says we'll ball it up. Natanui wins it down. Goes straight onto the deck, and it's been held in. Thoughts, anyone? No?
Yeah. I thought no Pryor.
Yeah.
No Pryor.
I'm with Wowie again.
Okay.
We'll stick together, Wowie. Charity, you're going to side with Clint. Give him some support. 2 on 2 again.
I'm happy to be on my own. He's braced. That's means he had a chance.
Yeah, he's elected to not dispose of the ball.
Rao kicks towards half forward. I thought it was immediate. As the kick goes towards full forward, fisted away by Barris, will get a throw in.
All over him.
Right half forward.
If he had someone directly in front of him, they're fast enough to get the hands to a teammate.
Where's the replay?
Well, if it's
I like it. We're split down the middle again. We'll just say how hard the job is for the umpires. Scores level.
I agree.
Throw in right forward pocket. Nat Nui slaps it down. Hoff coming through. Handball away to Redden. Handball to Gaff. Kicks the Eagles back towards the wing. Waterman can't take the mark. At the back, Powley bursts through them. Handball to Ellis. Sends the Suns back 50. Inside 50. Downfield, Ellis was dealt with after he'd kicked it. Was it Jones or Rioli who was the offending party? They're both in the vicinity.
Rioli, I think.
Looks as if it's Rioli from the television cameras focusing on him. So Witts will get the free kick. Mark set 25 metres out.
Witts should have walked away.
It'll be a 45-degree angle, but the right side for the left footer. Witts comes in. The big ruckman gets it on the left leg and immediately celebrates. The Suns are in front. They lead by a goal. A co-captain's goal, dare I say it. 11-11-77, plays 11-5-71, 10 minutes into the fourth.
6-1 inside 50s this quarter. All over him at the moment, the Suns.
Right decision. The ball was well gone when Rioli's clattered into Ellis. Absolutely spot on. Just putting it out there, I'm not always against the umpires. They got that one spot on.
No, I didn't think that. I don't think anyone's thought that, really. You're all right. We know you.
You'll be surprised.
On the umpires.
Very much on the umpires when they get the chance. One down by Williams. Umpire has spotted a free kick. It was a non-controlling umpire as well. It's gone the way of the Suns. Rowell has it, plays on quickly. I'll send it up the middle. No mark taken. Spills down. Holman, it spilled to him and he snaps the goal. It's all about the Suns at the moment. The rainbow's gone, but there's a pot of goals at that end of the ground. 12-11-83 the Suns. 11-5-71 the Eagles. Gold Coast, they've just grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck. 11 minutes gone in the fourth.
Centre bounce goal.
Pretty smart by Hoffman. I think, was going to get beaten by McGovern and just sweated on it, and he didn't take the mark, put enough pressure on him, and a really smart bit of play. Turned towards the contest, was at the front and centre.
They've kicked the last three now, and they're all over the Eagles. 4 goals to 1 in this final term. Bounce in the middle. Witts and Williams, both with hands on it. Knocked out of the congestion. Williams just swats it forward for the Eagles. Coming out, Petrevski-Seton, one-handed pickup. Handball away to Langdon, to Redden, to Naish cruising by. Drives it long. Getting back well up. Comes in, fists it away, goes through for a minor score.
Witts has only just got up in the centre bounce. I thought he'd done his knee again.
Looks a little sore. Jared Witts. Suns lead by 11 points.
Ankle.
Balls towards left half back. As far as the Suns are concerned, trying to work it away. Petrevski-Seton shoveled it into traffic. It's been locked in.
Looks all right, doesn't he?
Moving around.
Ball to be thrown aloft. Witts worked Williams out from underneath it. Took it and got a kick away into the middle of the ground. Barris crashed in to Rowell. Came out the back to Petruccelli of the Eagles. Kicks up into the air. Ellis flew courageously, collided with Jones. Neither could take the grab. Spilled down towards Jones. Got a hand pass out the side. Ellis emerges with it once more to Willer. Threw it on the boot. Anywhere will do. Kicks towards centre wing. Scooped up. Beautifully there by Ainsworth. Going backwards. Goes to Ellis again. He's under real pressure. Has the ball knocked away from him. Petrevski-Seton picks it up. Centering pass was perfect. finds Petruccelli, who marks right in front of goal. Pinpoint stuff from Petreski-Seton, and Petruccelli simply has to go back and convert.
That's what I think we're really going to see a lot of Petreski-Seton if he gets confident and up and going. Delivery by foot is first class when he's up and going.
Yeah, that's very good. Vision, decision.
He'll put boots of ball from 45 out. Petruccelli wants his third. He's missed. He thought it was through.
Post.
It's hit the right-hand goal post.
Celebrated.
Handy point.
10 points, the difference now. 12-11-83 to 11-7-73. He thought it was through. The Eagles fans thought it was through. It's just skimmed the right-hand goal post on the way through.
What was that point handy, Sharon?
I thought it was 2 goals exactly.
Long kick out from well up.
Rock the Casbolt.
And Casbolt takes the mark. Casbolt on the wing. Drives it long towards half forward. Launching Barris. Can't bring in the mark. Down in front they come through. There's a free kick taken high. It'll go to the Suns.
It's still one with the Suns have been so much better than West Coast today. Ground ball from long down the line.
So Ainsworth emerges with the free kick. Runs a little arc and goes as long as he can into the pocket. In the Chol direction. Williams goes up for the Eagles. Doesn't complete the mark. Now Redden burrows in. Lukosius. Lots of red around the footy. Trying to emerge Anderson. He's dragged down. And we'll get a ball up.
Too high, the West Coast forwards.
Right forward pocket. Here for the Eagles. The Suns lead by 10 points.
Throw it up. Scholl palmed it down. Spills to Nelson of the Eagles. Clearing kick beyond defensive 50. Bounces past Waterman. Tumbles over the boundary line at left half back. Pulsating game to wrap up round one. Couple of crackers earlier today as well. Hawthorn by 20 over North, and they had to come from a fair way back, Sam Mitchell's Hawks. And Fremantle by a point against the Crows. Back in. Williams took clean possession and looked to slap it forward. Onto it quickly, Sharp. Right up against the boundary line. On the southern wing, he takes it over for a throw-in. Bridget Lacey's downstairs.
Jared Witts did stay out there, as you mentioned, after going down gingerly at that ruck contest, but he has come to the bench, had a bit of a chat to the doctor, but he looks okay to continue.
Chol and Williams, neither decisive. Ball down at their feet. Williams picks it up. Trying to come away with it, O'Neill. He got one in the back. And he'll get a free kick. So Xavier O'Neill. And it was laterally back to Shannon Hearn. There's Lockabuddy. And he'll thump it long. Towards half forward. Looking for a marker down there. No one able to take it. Ballard drops it, then follows up with a tackle on Langdon. A ball up at left half forward for the Eagles. Can the Suns show their growing maturity and win this round one clash quickly from the stoppage? Squeezing a kick inside 50, Nelson, and the mark taken by Kennedy. 47 metres out, 30-degree angle to the left-hand side.
It wasn't completely on his own, but he didn't have someone right on him like you'd expect at a
Graham's
stoppage 60 or 70 out.
Generally, those quick kicks under pressure aren't going to go that far.
He's got one today. The Eagles need it. He thumps it on target and points to the stands. He brings the Eagles right back into it. They're within a kick. 4 points is the Gold Coast Suns lead. 12-11-83 plays 12-7-79. 18 minutes travelled, fourth term. Here on Grandstand AFL, Clint Wilden, myself, Ben Cameron. We've got a Brownlow medalist in Shane Woden and a premiership pie in Sharrod Wellingham.
Just looking to drop back and assist the deep defenders, but you can't leave Josh Kennedy 25, 30 metres away from a stoppage.
The spare was in the wrong spot too on that one. It was probably too high.
Beautiful finish.
Long minutes again, JK tonight.
He goes to the bench.
There, isn't it? It's a good script.
Just have a bit of a chat with his coach, Adam Simpson, on the phone as well. Natanui versus Witts. Witts got the first tap. Natanui went out after it. He's on the deck. Witts dives on top of him. Rowell emerges with it. Tackled by Jones in the centre circle. Will ball it up.
I swear I saw Simpson just mouth the words "go back" for us.
JK, no, thanks, coach. That's not my role.
Sorry, can't hear you. What's that? The phone's breaking
phone's
up.
broken.
Phone's not working. McPherson has it for the Suns through the middle. Hands it off to Lemons. Kicks the Gold Coast Suns to right half forward, but Hearn is back there. And it takes the defensive mark and goes short to Gaff, who has it at left half back. 4 points the difference. The Suns in front. 19 gone in the final term.
Gaff goes short. I'm going to find Petrevski-Seton. Chips it short to Gaff. Neutral territory, southern wing. Winning time here for both teams. 4 points the Suns lead. Gaff short. Again to Petrevski-Seton. Those two playing kick to kick. On the logo. Petrevski-Seton runs around the man on the mark. Goes onto the chest of Langdon at half forward. 60 metres out. He looks inside 50. Runs around the man on the mark. Goes long to full forward. Williams is there. No Eagle really makes a leap. Ball comes down. Petruccelli tries to burst away with it. Loses it. Umpire says play on. Caleb Graham picks it up. Handball to Witts. Handball to Rankin in the back pocket. And he clears the danger to the wing. Lukosius can't quite. Comes down for Edwards. Gives it off to Hoff. Kicks into the pocket. Close to the boundary line. Was it out on the full?
Sure.
Umpire says no. And the mark taken by Waterman. Deep in the right forward pocket. It looked out of bounds on the full from here.
It did, but the umpire's right there.
No, I reckon that's in.
I think it's in too.
What I can say is none of these replays will conclusively tell us, but the umpire was in the perfect position.
So Waterman with a truncated run up against the advertising hoardings. Going with the drop punt from 3 metres inside the boundary line. Or outside it. And he misses to the near side. So 3 points. 21 minutes played in the fourth.
Big moments now for Gold Coast. Can they take a step as a football club? So much talent. They need to hang on here for West Coast. Can this threadbare side get in front? Shoal flies on the outer wing. Can't mark. Tries to bring it to ground. Rouse over the top. Ball's going to be locked in here, is it? It's almost a rugby scrum on the outer side. Somehow Hearn emerges with it. Kick bounces off Natanui. Bounce off the head of Rowell. Gathered by Jones. Tackled by Davies. Ball bounces forward again. Miller got thrown to ground. Umpire continues to say play on. Taken high was Rowell, the son. Put his head over it, drew the free kick. He's got it at right half back. He'll move it short. Chance to build again through Anderson. Puts the Suns towards right half forward. Stretching for it. Edwards couldn't mark. Spilled down to Holman. Got it onto Davies. Kicks inside forward 50. Ainsworth up. Couldn't mark. Hits the deck again. Naish was back there. The new recruit. Hand passes to McGovern, then to Gaff, back to Naish. Last man back. He's under real pressure. Somehow found a target. Was cool when he needed to be. Naish was able to find the man he wanted, and the Eagles can go beyond defensive 50 through Foley.
Can they go quickly? Nelson holds it up momentarily. The crowd urges him on. He kicks forward of the wing, trying to get it to Natanui. And the mark taken by Ballard. Great interceptor for the Suns. It's going to be a free kick. Witts will get it. At right half back. Witts wants to go back down the southern wing. Kicks forward of the wing for the Suns. Going up Davies. Doesn't complete the mark, but worries Nelson out of it. Now it comes to Ainsworth. Sets it out in front of a leading target. Laterally goes Rankin into the pocket. He tracks it. Slaps it back in. McGovern onto the footy. The umpire says it was a throw. Free kick to the Eagles. McGovern moves it on to Naish.
Naish, oh, what happened there? Almost hand pass to himself. Time to gather, but turns it over. Disappointing kick. Bounced in front of Powell. Lost his footing, was taken high. A little bit fortunate because it appeared to slip and was taken high as he looked to get a hand pass away.
Genuine fatigue now.
Yeah.
Right in. All players.
It was a really smart play by McGovern. Knew Rankin would try and keep the ball alive as it was a 2-on-1 and just waited on the boundary line.
Everyone digging deep. Powell puts it back towards full forward. McGovern from one side, got fingertips to it, juggled it, marks. He's got it for West Coast. The Eagles trail by 3 points, 24 minutes gone in the final term. It's all up for grabs at Perth Stadium.
A kick from McGovern, slipping over Kennedy. It allows in Powell. Gets it on the boot quickly. Spots up Ainsworth.
They can have a shot, mate.
40 metres out. Slightly left of centre. Shane Woden urging him to go back and take responsibility.
We should have had a shot breaking 50 on the previous one that went to Rankin in the pocket. He had
break a line and kick a goal.
Plenty of grass in front of him to take.
He's already got one today. He comes in, sends it on its way, and he puts it through. He loves it too, and the Gold Coast Suns are back out by 9 points. And generally in this state, there's been something about Benz with number 9 on their back. And the Suns 13-11-89. They lead the Eagles 12-8-80, 25 minutes into the fourth.
Costly
slip.
It's good
Gov. McGovern did a great job of turning the ball over and had Hoff just sliding into the middle there.
If he had
had to put it out the back over for him. He had the whole wing to himself.
If he had broke and got out there, it probably catches the eye, doesn't it?
Yeah, whereas he was kind of just floating.
9 points the difference. The Eagles have got it in front of themselves now. Natanui won the tap. Anderson got it back to Witts and then kicks inside forward 50. Barris tapped it, tried to get it to his own advantage. Rankin looking to go through, kick smothered by McGovern. Edwards was there. Scholl tackles him. Scooped up by Davies. This will be the sealer. He kicks the goal for the Suns.
Bounce. Crucial.
Oh, they do rise in the West. 14-11-95. The Eagles 12-8-80. They're out to a 15-point advantage. 26 gone in the final term.
Rankin again.
Just being very dangerous, keeping the ball alive.
Candy. Oh, he nearly got touched too.
Hearn was on the goal square, did everything in his power, but would have had to have been a disappointing finish for Davies.
They just still look like they're moving. They just look like they're moving well still, don't they? They just look on top of the ground.
5 goals won from centre bounce tonight, Gold Coast Suns.
20,932.
Not quite 50%.
Is the attendance. You could still buy tickets as recently as half an hour before the bounce tonight. Witts trying to slap it out of the middle, can't decisively. Now the Eagles trying to merge with it though. Gaff's tackled. Anderson gets a handball away to Rowell, to Fiorini. Kicks towards half forward. Scholl coming out. Rotham drops the mark. Davies again, the goal kicker, onto the footy. Chisels the ball beautifully towards full forward. And Rankin, the marks on his chest, 15 out, 45-degree angle.
He shows a bit too, Davies. Like what he can do in the front half. Get another centre bounce win.
Through the Gold Coast Academy.
There's a couple of tackles that Gold Coast laid too. Didn't give away a free kick. Didn't push in the back.
Rankin going with the drop punt. At 18 disposals. This will be his third goal. It'll be a good day. And he nurses it through. And the Suns are home now. And boy, it feels like a big step in their development. They cross 100. Something they only did twice last year. They're 15-11, 101. The Eagles 12-8, 80. And the Suns are going to be round one winners out west.
It was one of the big questions we had about Gold Coast. They have all these high-quality youngsters, high draft picks. Was this the year that they were going to show it? And they needed to do so from their coach. Seriously challenged. I know the Eagles are threadbare. They are. But still, there's enough talent out there for West Coast.
Yeah, they were challenged.
Delivered.
They were challenged.
Yeah.
Got to within 3 points. Stemmed the flow. Hit back, I think, the last 2 or 3.
Matty Rowell's just continued to go again, up to 32 disposals now.
21 contested.
He's sensational. There's plenty with him in red tonight as the Eagles get the clearance. How quiet has Perth Stadium gone as Naish hits inside, forward 50 with a socket effort. Rowell couldn't gather it. Treski-Seaton tries to put it on the boot, only as far as Weller. Clearing kick for the Suns towards the outer side. Rankin up against Rotherham. Rankin will sock it forward 2 again. Big collision. Davies one way, Redden the other. Davies goes to ground. Redden kept his feet. Holman tapped it out to Lukosius. It's like a library here. You could hear a pin drop. The Eagles fans cannot believe it. Despite having so many out, but just having just 20,000 in the ground. The noise of affirmation has not been here tonight. Going to be spun back in at right half forward. Gold Coast are on their way to a round one win. They're up by 21 points.
Haven't won in round one since 2018. Witts knocking it down, coming through. Rao slapped back towards Natanui, who gives it to Foley. Chips towards halfback. Going up Ainsworth. Able to pinch it for the Suns. He marks 55 out, points at the goal. The umpire should say no chance.
Can the umpire say that? I thought they can.
Surely. I think he did. As Ainsworth sets it up to the pocket towards Casbolt. Off hands, and Barris carries it out. We'll get a throw in. Right forward pocket.
I'll be happy with that. It's a disappointing crowd, isn't it?
It is.
What do you put it down to, Wowie?
Sunday 440.
That, maybe a little bit of the
COVID fear.
COVID fear.
Umpire spins it back in. Witts slapping it down. Miller emerges with the footy. Can't quite get it on the boot. He's tackled. Rioli snaffled him, holding the ball.
We heard that on Sports Talk yesterday. A lot of people unhappy with the late game, particularly country members, of which there are a lot for West Coast. As Rioli tries to get away from his opponent and goes up the middle to Foley, who marks, turns and plays on. Kicks the Eagles into the middle of the ground and turns it over. Ballard marking for the Suns. And put the ball high up into the air, out towards the wing. Marked there by Anderson. And I think the COVID fears are genuine ones.
Genuine one.
Absolutely genuine ones, particularly at a ground where you are forced onto public transport to get here. Kickers towards left half forward. Lukosius, I beg your pardon, Casbolt couldn't mark. Fiorini picked it up. Hand pass to Ainsworth, now to Miller, then to Witts. Hand pass again to Fiorini. Razzle-dazzle stuff from the Suns. They're just moving it forward for fun, and the kick inside forward 50, and the mark's been taken by Rankin. So I think that was... And remember again, majority of the Eagles' long-term members, they're now sort of 60, 65.
Yeah.
A lot of those understandably concerned about having to get public transport here. So I don't think there's one factor. I think there's probably a couple, but none of that changes the fact that's a really disappointing crowd. So Rankin, from the junction of the 50 and the boundaries, missed the lot to the left-hand side. He was looking for his fourth, not to be with that.
In a passionate state that we are. We love our footy, and West Coast a big club.
Round one.
You know, after last year, and
Hearn thumps it long towards halfback. No mark taken. Loose footy. Anderson dragged down in a strong tackle.
His arm was free.
And we'll get another ball up. Ball up 55 metres out from goal. The Gold Coast Suns. Witts knocking it down to Rao. Gets a quick kick away. Anderson onto the footy. Handball away to Ainsworth. Gathers 35 out. Goes on the left. Snaps on goal. It'll float to the pocket. Mark taken by Rankin. Deep in the left forward pocket. Right alongside the left-hand behind post. And it'll be after the siren that Rankin will try and add his fourth. Rankin comes in and bends it through. Puts a tasty little layer of icing on top of this Gold Coast cake. And maybe finally, these Suns are rising. They defeat the Eagles by 27 points out west.
We are one in the red, gold and blue. We are the mighty Gold Coast Suns. We play to win the flag for you. Fight, fight, fight till we hold on the top. Run, run, run all the way. Hey! We are the sons of the Gold Coast sky. We're the team who never say die. Hey!
A 27-point win on the back of an 8-goal final term. The Suns trailed by 12 or 17 points at quarter time, by 9 at half time, by 6 at three-quarter time before they stormed home for their first ever away win over the West Coast Eagles. Rankin kicked 4, Ainsworth with 2, Scholl with 2, Davies, Holman, Miller, Anderson, Sharp, Witts and Casbolt the others for the Suns. For West Coast, Kennedy and Petruccelli and Jermaine Jones, their multiple goal kickers.
We are one in the red, gold and blue. We are the mighty Gold Coast Suns. We play to win the flag for you. Fight, fight, fight till we hold on the top. Run, run, run all the way. Hey! We are the sons of the Gold Coast sky. We're the team who never say die.
In terms of an evolution of a football club, this could be a big step for Gold Coast. A round one win, a win in the West, and a win when they were challenged. And despite the injuries and the absences for West Coast, it did look like West Coast would be able to get the 4 points here at times this afternoon, this evening. But the Gold Coast responded and then ran away with it in the final term. It's an emphatic win at the end. 27 points. 8 goals to 2 in that final term to tidy up the other West Coast goal kickers, Waterman, Langdon, O'Neill, Barris, Dixon and Rioli. Isaac Rankin, again the star, with 4 goals, and Matty Rowell. It is great to see him play footy. 33 disposals, 1 behind, but 17 kicks, 16 hand passes, had 1 mark, 22 contested possessions, 15 ground ball gets, 10 clearances. They are tremendous stats for a young man who's promised so much and has had to go through so much as well. What a superstar he could be, just 20 years of age. And let's all remember, it's just his 18th game of AFL football. He was immense tonight for this Gold Coast side. The Suns winning in the West by 27 points, 16-11 to 12-8. They'll pump out their song, I reckon, with genuine gusto, as there's a cheer for Tom Barris kicking a goal, his first ever goal in the AFL today in game 100. The Eagles fans near the race go to show their appreciation for him as he leads the Eagles off. They'd be disappointed with the result, but they do know so many of their stars unavailable today. Take nothing away from the Gold Coast, Shane Woden, Sharad Wellingham. That's a big win for the Suns.
Very good win, outstanding, and challenged at times, but they went on with it.
Yeah,
8 goals to 2, I think, last quarter, and just +9 inside 50s, and we're all over them. Probably a bit of fatigue there, but dominated around the ball. Smashed West Coast around the ball, I thought,
and I think
across the night.
Like I said at the three-quarter time break, the fatigue was going to set in, and they were then able to capitalise on that inside grunt work that they were doing, and that was what resulted, I think, in those centre bounces to goals, because they had the outside run off the back of the inside hard work that they were doing.
Yeah, they've got some runners in there, haven't they?
Absolutely.
They've got good balance. Got your bulls inside who can run as well. Like Miller can run. He can do both.
I reckon he's a really good mix of both that inside grunt, but his angles across the ground
he gets
and
out.
Work rate is huge. Not contest to contest, breaking lines running.
I thought he set the game up tonight with his first half. A bit quiet in the third, but he come good again in the last.
I think that they have got a couple of missing pieces, a couple of. They've got a lot of the same kind of player in the midfield. I think the players are in the team, but getting them a little bit more midfield time to have a different look at stages through the midfield is something that I think they should definitely be looking at. Someone with the talent of Weller, I mean, he's in the back line and he provides that run, but he's great when he's played up in the wing previously.
I reckon so. Yeah.
Because they do have the ability to win it inside so well. Witts is a great ruckman. He's not a knock it out to an outside run on the move. It's stand and collect type. Get it to Rao, get it to Miller, and then I think if they have that link player, it'll just take their game to another level.
The back stood up pretty well tonight too, Gold Coast. Won some ball, intercept marking. Ballard took a few. Had to repel a few attacks from West Coast when they were coming.
Yeah. I think that they get a tick, but it wasn't like they owned their back line. I still feel like West Coast were a little bit dangerous when they went.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about that. Absolutely, but on the road, young team. The challenge for Gold Coast, I think in previous years they have started well, haven't they? First 4 or 5 weeks, but the wheels fall off for whatever reason. Young bodies, some fatigue, a couple of injuries, or just playing poor footy.
I thought maybe Achol was hitting contests really hard.
Yep.
That was awesome. Just giving them a bit of presence there. That
with King not there,
yeah,
need to be able to do that.
It's a huge void to fill without King.
They are dangerous at ground level. They're inside 50, aren't they?
Yeah.
Rankins kick Holman, Ainsworth. They look really dangerous. Davies at times there. And Sexton.
I think Lukosius was pretty quiet, and if he really gets that craft of that high half forward going, he's a really, really damaging player.
Might head down into the rooms. The Gold Coast Suns have made their way downstairs. Bridget Lacey is in the vicinity as well as the Gold Coast Suns. Here they go.
I think so. I'll just check. They're just getting ready, guys. Levi Casbolt and Alex Davies in the middle. Marby Ochoa popping it with the energy drinks as well.
So Gold Coast celebrate downstairs. Winners tonight, 16-11, 107 to the Eagles, 12-8-80. And they had to fight back too after trailing by, as I said, 17 points at quarter time, 9 points at the break, the major break, and 6 points at three-quarter time. It was a real arm wrestle in the early stages of the final term. They kicked a remarkable 8 goals to 2 in that final term to run out victors over the West Coast Eagles. And I'm really liking the fact that next week we get to see the two sides who have most recently won at this ground go head-to-head in the AFL men's competition. The Melbourne Football Club up against the Gold Coast Football Club. If this is a step forward, how do they go against the Demons next week? I'm not expecting them to win. Melbourne are outstanding, but it's a really good test for them after this sort of result.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be a good.
It's the reigning premiers.
Where they're at.
Yep. Who's playing very good brand of footy on your home deck.
They get them up at the Gold Coast.
At Metricon, absolutely. Yeah. So, big challenge and a couple of injuries at Melbourne. Maybe a couple more from the weekend. So, you never know if you play with that spirit and energy. I'm not sure if they've got any players coming back, Gold Coast, but, when's that being played up there?
Saturday night.
So, again slippery, dewy, Metricon Stadium can get wet with the humidity up there. So, good test for both clubs, I reckon.
I reckon it's slipperier than when it's just wet, though. If it's raining, it's different. It's like it's a bar of soap, literally like a bar of soap.
Yeah, it's hard.
I don't know why.
Interesting areas from you, Sharad, suggesting that dew's wetter than...
I didn't say wetter, I said more slippery.
I know what you mean. It's just...
I think maybe it's the humidity and you're sweating a lot more.
It's horrendous.
And could it even be as simple as because you almost expect it to be dry? Like when you know it's wet, that you think you're playing wet weather footy.
Mate, main training sessions up there during the day, you train with a wet footy. Because you just know.
Well, I remember last year, I reckon it was, West Coast had a theory that the Gold Coast Suns had turned the sprinklers on before the game and deliberately
that's right.
made Metricon wet. Because West Coast like clean footy, kick mark, intercept mark, play very clean, and Gold Coast wanted to... That was something the West Coast Eagles were talking about at the time privately. They thought they might have just wet the ground at...
Sounds like a Ross Lyon type theory.
or a Kevin Sheedy tie down the flag sort of theory as well. I had heard that theory. I'd forgotten about it. But yeah, it's a good theory. I like it. So much to talk about out of this, and indeed to recap the weekend. We'll have a chat to, we hope, Touk Miller very soon. He was tremendous today as well. I gave huge raps to Matty Rao, rightly so, but Miller just behind him in total disposals. He had 29 and was just one of the prime movers, as Shane Woewodin said, really did help set things up for them. Reflect on the West Coast Eagles' performance tonight. Another fade out. They've now gone... I know you shouldn't go from one season to the other, but they did finish last season with 4 consecutive losses. They decided to go again and not rebuild, and then they've had so many injuries and unavailable issues going into this season. This was one West Coast desperately needed to get over the line by hook or by crook, and in the end they've seen Gold Coast run away with it in the final term. What does it mean for the Eagles?
Do the Eagles ever resign to a rebuild? Is it something that they've ever done?
I think after the last year of Ken Judge, there was a decision that they were going to go deep into the draft.
Okay.
And that's when we saw the likes of Chris Judd get picked up at 3. So not since that time they haven't.
Yeah.
You don't foresee those injuries coming along, do you?
No. Actually, let's head straight downstairs into the Gold Coast rooms. Bridget Lacey's got someone with her. Bridge.
Yes, one of the best today for the Gold Coast Sun, Touk Miller. What does this mean to the footy club? 9 times trying to come here and beat West Coast, and you've finally done it.
Yeah, definitely. I was saying before on Fox Footy that the fact that we've never won over here is a massive deal, and it's the hardest road trip in football, that and going down to Cardinia Park, I reckon. So to notch up a win, and it was hard fought. We knew it was going to be hard, and yeah, the boys came to the floor. It was excellent.
What were your thoughts at 3/4 time? Were you confident?
Yeah, definitely. We know that we play a really hard, fundamental football brand, and we've done it for the pre-season games, and we knew that's what we had to bring. We was not going to be polished. We just had to, grind our guts up and push through it, and that's what we did.
What was it like mentally coming into a game like this, where ordinarily you'd be massive underdogs coming into this game, but a lot of people giving you a chance with West Coast having so many out and you having such a good pre-season?
Yeah, I mean, we try not to focus on what the opposition had. I know it's a bit of a cliche answer, but we really feel like what we did in the pre-season was back ourselves and have confidence in our own football, and I feel like that's what we tried to deliver on today. It was really hard and we didn't get everything on our own terms, but in terms of playing our type of brand of football, I feel like we delivered on that.
I'll throw you upstairs for some questions. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shane Woewodin and Sharad Wellingham.
Congratulations, mate. Shane Woewodin here. Well, it's a great victory for the footy club. In particular, it's a long road trip coming from the east. Mate, what's the difference, or is there anything different within the group this year that you've noticed? You walked in day one pre-season and you train hard for the next 3 or 4 months, but what stood out for you to take that next step for this playing group?
We're a matured group now. I think we've had about 2 years now with the same crew, and boys have signed up and signed on, and that gives us the ability to play football more together and probably have a group of around 30 blokes that play consistent brand of football, and I feel like that's what we've had an opportunity to do and build on our pre-seasons, build on our game plan and try to deliver that now.
What's it like having Rowley back now fully fit? I know he's missed 2 years of footy now, but tonight you probably saw what you did see when he first started playing AFL footy and his ability to work in the contest.
Never in doubt, mate. That bloke puts in that much work into his craft and into his football. It really just doesn't surprise me, and I think it's just a great thing for football and himself. I mean, the man had the whole world on his shoulders, and he's still going to have that in the games coming, but I think he's worthy of that, and he can really play a great brand of football, and he's an impressive bloke to watch go about it.
Took Sharad Wellingham here, mate. Congratulations on the win and a great game for yourself. You mentioned it was an arm wrestle, and it really was from up here. It felt like you guys really controlled the inside of all of the contest work, but just weren't able to probably capitalise on your end-to-end stuff and transition stuff. But talk me through what the messaging was at three-quarter time before you came out, because you really looked like there was a lot of, I suppose, confidence coming out. Everyone was really up and about, and you came out and kicked a goal within 30 seconds. So what was the messaging?
Yeah, we just literally had to back ourselves. We had full confidence going into three-quarter time. We talked about it before the game. We said we could break the game open in the first 5 minutes, but we could break the game open in the last 5 minutes, and it ended up being the last 5 minutes. So we know we're a running club and we have heaps of power in our legs, and that's off the back of having a lot of pre-seasons under our belt. So we had full confidence going into that last quarter that we had the ability to run the game out and put the score on the board.
Talk Clint Wilden here. You sort of touched on it, but it did appear today that got genuine pace all over the ground, and you were really happy to take risks moving the ball forward. Is that something that you spoke about as a group going into this season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we probably have a lot of weapons. I guess we do have a bit of youth, and that means we have a bit of flair in terms of the style of play that we can deliver on. And yeah, I mean, you got to play to your weapons, and our attributes is we have really good run power. We have blokes that are fast. We have blokes that can mark in the air. So the best we can play to those strengths, and I think we're going to get good results.
Outside of looking in, this appeared to be the sort of season where you had a big group of players that had enough footy under their belt, high draft picks, quality players, highly skilled. It was time for the Suns to deliver. Did you feel that as a group yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, we're a matured group, so when you get a bit more of a mature group and a group that plays more footy together, you have more opportunities to win games of football. And look, it's only our first game. We've got a long season ahead of us, and we know that it's not going to be an easy grind. So we're looking forward to what's to come. We've got a really couple hard games coming up with Melbourne and GWS, and we really want to stamp some authority in the competition and gain some respect. So yeah, I think that's a massive opportunity for us coming up.
How did you rate how the forward line worked tonight? Obviously, so much disappointment with Ben King not being available for these games, and indeed for the season with the knee. But you look like you found a few different avenues to goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what it looked like from the box, but from my angle, there's just a lot of unpredictable options. You know, Charlie he can really jump and run at the ball. Levi Casbolt, he's got an amazing way to split packs open. And then we've got some ground level players that really can hit the packs and kick goals. So I think we have a lot of variety down there, and it gives us plenty of options. So yeah, I think we can fill that void.
Took, I'm the last dog at the bowl here. They've asked all the serious stuff, so I'll go with something silly. Talk me through that torp at, when was it? Half time, quarter time?
Yeah, I think a few of the Eagles boys said it's a cheap skipper stat, and that's probably fair enough. But I'll be honest, there was no one in the goal square, so I was like, if this rolls in, no one touched it, it would have been excellent. But yeah, I'll be honest, that was a bit of a cheapie.
You would have had some crossover with Malcolm Blight at the Suns, and Malcolm Blight's very good at telling his own stories. You would have heard about his torp many a time, wouldn't you?
Oh, mate, he said it's an easy game. You kick 1 goal a game, that means you make 4, and kick 100 in a year. I was like, yeah, no dramas, mate.
All right, Turk, we'll let you go.
Great stuff, Turk. Thanks for chatting with us.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, that was good fun. Well done, Turk Miller, one of the co-captains from the Gold Coast Suns. He was terrific tonight. They were terrific tonight. Sorry you were last dog at the bowl. That's
all right. He sounds like he's got a lot of confidence in what they've done over the summer and what they're putting together, which is nice.
Does.
Top 3 goal kickers from last year not playing, and there's 91 goals. There's not out there tonight from 21. So
is Sexton underdone?
Don't know.
No, it seems like it's a genuine selection issue.
Yeah, he's not in their best 22. He's sitting 23rd.
Which is a good sign for them.
Absolutely.
He's running laps at the moment.
Yeah, worst job after.
Unused as the Medi sub. Get your work in.
No more.
Yeah, because you would have started warming up at 3:30.
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So going back to the Eagles, because the Suns were terrific, and we've spoken to Took Miller. We'll try and get someone from the Eagles rooms. But is this going to be one of those years now for West Coast? You just have to try and hang on until some of the reinforcements come over the hill.
Pretty much,
yeah.
I think
that they outperformed the way I, pictured it in my head pre-game. I thought that it was going to be pretty ugly early on. So for them to be leading at what kind of lead was it at three-quarter time?
6 points, and then they led by 6 points in the second minute mark. They got back in front, and from that point onwards, Gold Coast levelled things up in the 4th minute mark, and then by the 12-minute mark they were up by 12 points, and then took the game away from them by then. Those were all in the final term, of course.
I think that they did great to hold on as long as they did.
Yeah, agreed.
They've got a very winnable game. there are no easy games, but they've got a winnable game next week against North Melbourne West Coast. They do have to go away to play it. If they show a similar sort of endeavour, then they would really have to fancy their chances against North away from home.
Yeah.
North were disappointing.
Completely
today.
agree.
They just have to try and bank a couple, and then hope that the likes Yo's back in 2 to 3 weeks, Allen's back in 5, Duggan's back in 2, Cripps you can pretty much rule out for the first half of the season. We'd expect Darling to be back in 2 to 3. What sort of impact he has is a different question. But Ryan will be back, Kelly will be back. They're both out under health and safety protocols.
But this is the thing. I mean, I feel like it's what version of them do you get back when you eventually get them back?
Exactly.
And if guys have been out for a month, 6 weeks, this is what, we say it all the time and we'll say it again. Why have you had a good year? Oh, I had a really good preseason. I was fully fit. Oh, we had a really good preseason. Everyone was fit. And it just feels like, I feel like too much already has gone wrong for a West Coast Eagles list that is aging and probably needed everything to go absolutely perfectly right for them to contend.
So I would ask you this question, and no, we know no team tries to tank, of course. We know that. But when do you decide to start putting all your kids out there? See, I reckon West Coast is still at a point when they think they can play finals, and right now they would still think, knowing how that football club operates, they'll still think they can play finals.
As you should, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're going there to play September every year.
And so they'll be giving it everything for the moment to try and get one over. I'm with you, and I've said this on air on the Sunday Footy Forum, and I've also said it on Sports Talk. I was surprised that West Coast decided to go around. I thought it was time to go. This group has done its absolute best. It's time to start again, and I think maybe they'd put themselves back a year. And now, but I understood why they were going to do it. Really hard to tell a group of your premiership stars, sorry guys, it's time to go on. Then the pre-season hit, and the one they've had, and it's really easy to sit back now and go, well, should have gone the other way. But they will still reckon they're a chance, and that's why they're the football club they are, because they'll back themselves to go and be 1-1 after North Melbourne.
That's what you do, though. You back your people in and play their role on or off field and have a crack at it.
That said, though,
But
I think
get
the
some
worst
kids in.
mistake you can make is misjudging your list. And if you get to a point where you hold it on for a year longer, it almost delays the pain disproportionately the other way. Like it makes it a year longer that, if you're in no man's land where you don't get any good, not any good talent, but no top end talent. And it really hurts, I think, in the draft league the AFL is now.
And it's gotten harder and harder.
Yeah. And there's still, this is really big picture macro chat, but, we're still waiting to see whether you can actually renovate to a list. It seems like the only way to do it is through the draft. I mean, you look at Melbourne, like Petrarca, pick 2, becomes the player everyone thought he would be. Oliver, top pick. There's a lot of other guys that have taken a little bit longer, but they eventually arrive as the players you thought they would be. Geelong have tried to renovate and just top up along the way. It hasn't worked. Not quite good enough. Yeah. So it seems like the draft is the path. And now, if they finish, somewhere between, let's say, 6th and 10th, you just
getting
delay
that
it a
same
little bit
mid-range.
longer. Yep.
Getting that same mid-range.
Those top-end talent, they're very good, aren't they?
Yep.
They're starting to play round one now and having an impact straight away. So it's good to be up there. But, they haven't been a genuine contested team, have they, West Coast?
No, they've never relied that heavily on it.
They don't, apparently, from all reports, they don't train it very hard. So that was the scouting report, that West Coast don't train the contest hard. They don't go overly hard at training. Teams like Melbourne, very, very hard, physical at training, will train the contest. And maybe that's changed a little bit for West Coast in the last pre-season with some new people arriving, but that's the mail.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah.
You've got to train.
You can't breakdown drill every bit of, all right, we're going to do some tackle. You got to be
all in
game contest.
Yep, absolutely.
That's your mail out of Melbourne, isn't it?
Pardon?
You believe Melbourne go, full on at training.
Yeah, and most teams in Victoria do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a couple of clubs over there train, and they train the contest. I was only there for 10 minutes, but, and leading into round one, and full noise. So it's good. I reckon you have to train the mind, you've got to train the body for the heat of battle, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't watch West Coast trains. I don't know what they do. Do they train that and go all out and full noise, and you risk injury, you do, absolutely. But it trains the mind, it trains the body in preparation for when it needs it, and at the 20-minute mark of the last quarter when you've got to go. Like, I don't think you can be down minus 33, minus 35 in ground ball, even clearance. They're generally a good clearance team, West Coast, so you're not going to win too many games of footy if you're getting belted around the ball that much. So, yeah.
And particularly now, I mean, I did a little bit of work on it over the weekend, speaking to coaches and different coaches around the comp, just with the momentum swings we've seen in the game over the course of this weekend. I mean, what was it? Let's go back to round one. 4 goals to start from Western Bulldogs. 4 from Melbourne, 6 from the Western Bulldogs, then 8 from Melbourne again to respond. And we've seen it over the course of the weekend, teams kicking goals in chunks. And generally, they'll speak about the contest, and once you get on top in the contest, it's nigh on impossible in the modern game to stop the run because of the 6-6-6. CBD, centre bounce down, becomes so important, and you just can't stop the run. The contest is more important than it's ever been, they're saying.
Absolutely, yeah. Not just inside there, in front of the ball, behind the ball, winning your one-on-ones, winning at ground level, just to be able to have that first touch, get it to a player, get the ball back, and then work the ball up the ground.
I think moments are so much more highlighted now that when something isn't right, like a mistake happens, because it gets capitalised on so quickly. And that's why football is so much more about it's turnover football now.
Yeah.
I watched the D's grand final week train outside the ground at Mineral Resources Park. There was no one allowed in there, and you're a few days out from grand final, and they're going full noise, and no risk of injury. Let's go. We've got a big game to play. We want to win it, and that's what you see. I mean, you'd hope all teams are training that, because that's the game, and you've got to be good and teaching your kids this is the game and where you've got to be good at, and in moments, as Sharad said.
But then I ask you about West Coast. When you have key players who have issues with breaking down, Luke Shuey, for example, their captain, and their key goal kicker is 34 years of age, their key defender in Shannon Hearn is 34 years of age, Nick Natanui has already done 2 knees and is 31 years of age, Andrew Gaff is 29. Can you go absolutely hell for leather and risk those guys at that sort of an age? So is it horses for courses, and you have to train that way because of your age demographic?
Yeah, and it's not every week you train it. That's the moments where you phase it in your training, but there's still got to be components of it. You might only be 4 or 5 minutes because it's not long because of fatigue, and main training sessions aren't going for an hour and a half like they probably used to years ago. But you've got to have some element of it at most weeks.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the full ground stuff is really short. Like, it will be just for that couple of minutes break, talk about the structures, talk about what's happened, go back into a couple of minutes. It's not 15 minutes of full ground drill. And it might be broken up with a few, specialists, or they call them breakdown drills. And that's, the way the structure of the training's changed a lot. But yeah, it is just super short, high intensity stuff now.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be long.
No.
You don't have to, but it's just
and usually I remember, usually the players are begging for a couple more minutes, to be honest, and it's
because they enjoy it.
Yeah, it's the conditioning people going, get off the field.
Coaches love it.
Coaches are always begging for more minutes. Players are always asking for more minutes, and you got the Warren Cofords of West Coast Eagles saying, "Boys, get off the track."
You've done enough. You are not allowed to have another set shot. By the way,
one more kick. Literally.
You talk about swings, which you did, Ben, and momentum shifts, but 7 of the last 8 goals, you talk about momentum shifts. 7 of the last 8, the last 4 going the way of the Gold Coast Suns. And West Coast, once the ball came out of the middle, had really no way to stop it.
Yeah.
Waiting downstairs to see if we can get an eagle for our listeners still on board with us on ABC Radio, of course, Sport Digital, and for our listeners on News Radio. Those up in News Radio, up in Queensland, quite rightly should be celebrating a win for the Suns. The Suns rise in the West. by 27 points. Ben Cameron's going to have all the other numbers for us. Disappointing crowd, a little bit over 20,000 tonight, 20,932. What else have you got in front of you, Ben?
So the full numbers, the full summary: West Coast 339 disposals, the Suns 355. Contested possessions 156 to 122 the way of the Suns. Clearances 39 to 34 the way of Gold Coast. Inside 50s 59 to 42 for the Gold Coast Suns. Some of the leading ball winners: Matty Rowell with 33 led all comers on the ground. He also had 22 contested possessions, 9 clearances, 5 inside 50s. Andrew Gaff with 32 had 12 contested possessions, 5 clearances. Took Miller with 29, maybe best on ground, probably in my opinion. 18 contested possessions, 5 inside 50s. Jack Redden with 28. So the Suns win by 27. Those are the numbers with a little bit of editorial.
The other scores for you today: Fremantle by a point over Adelaide, and Hawthorn by 20 over North Melbourne. And repeating here at Perth Stadium to wrap up round 1 of season 2022. A win to the Gold Coast Suns, 16-11, 107 to the Eagles, 12-8, 80. Next week, as I mentioned, West Coast Eagles will head across on Sunday. They take on North Melbourne at the Docklands, and the Gold Coast, they've got Melbourne up on the Gold Coast. Let's head downstairs, and Bridget Lacey's got someone for us. Bridge.
Jack Petrocelli's been good enough to join us. Jack, that was a tough loss first up. How do you assess it, given how tough the pre-season has been overall for the club?
Yeah, it was a tough loss, definitely, but I guess there's a few positives to take out of it. The effort was there. The boys gave 100% all day, I thought, and so that's a positive to take from it. Obviously, we want to win, but it was also good to get a few young boys, a few opportunities, a couple of debuts, a couple of first games for the club. So I guess there are a few positives.
What was the message from the coach afterwards?
Yeah, just pretty much that the effort was there. Obviously, win would be nicer, but he couldn't fight our effort tonight, I don't think.
One big positive as well was having Willie Rioli back out there. What was that like for a teammate?
Oh, it's amazing. He's such an amazing player, such an amazing fella. So it was so exciting to be back out here with him, and it was awesome to see him put one through. So it was really good to have him back out there.
I'll head upstairs for some questions. Clint Wheeldon, Ben Cameron, Shane Woewodin and Sharad Wellingham.
Yeah, Jack, Shane Woewodin here, mate. Unlucky tonight. Another positive probably you do take is very noticeable, I thought, tonight. And, through COVID, through injury, but the spinning of the magnets around centre square bounce and, a few different names going through the centre circle there. It's a great opportunity for your players on your list. Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's a few new boys going in today, so... it was good to see Willie Rioli in there and definitely helped us out a few times getting the ball out. Jermaine Jones the same, and obviously Sam Petruski-Seaton as well. So it was it is different to previous years, I guess, but it's not too bad to sort of have a few new boys in there, provide a little bit of spark.
Petch, it's Shaz here, mate. Congratulations on a good game and heard you had a great pre-season. Commiserations on the loss, but talk about what the messaging has been from inside the club with all of the trouble that has happened with injuries and the boys who are being held out through COVID crisis. What's been the messaging to such a young group? There hasn't been too much. I guess it's really uncontrollable. All of it's out of our hands and out of everyone at the club's hands. So obviously it's unfortunate to have a few injuries and a few boys go to COVID, but I think we just got to make do and hopefully we can get those boys back on the track. But it is a good opportunity for some of the younger boys to step up and take those positions and play well, which I thought was pretty evident tonight. One question, I actually don't know the answer to this, but what's the go with the COVID top-up list players that have been added? So do those guys come into the club at all? Are they introduced? Because a lot of you guys wouldn't know them personally. Do they get involved in any training sessions or anything like that? Yep, I'm not 100% sure how it will work just yet, but we did have a few down on at training this week. So it was, like you said, it was good to meet them, and I think that's going to be important because if they are a genuine chance to play, which they probably are with everything going on in the world right now, it's can't really have them rock up straight to a game and pull a jumper on. Exactly right. Yeah, so it's pretty important that they probably are at the club a few times so we can meet them so they can get to know the game plan and
from the boys that have come in so far, they seem like all very good fellas, and we all know them anyway from some of their waffle footy.
Yeah.
They're all guns, so it's good to have them around.
Jack, we rarely pump ourselves up on the ABC, but we did speak to Tom Barras week before last, and we told him, what was your chance of kicking your first goal in your 100th game? And he actually sort of chuckled to us. And then it happened. We couldn't believe it. How good was that?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Tommy, he spun forward a few times during the pre-season, as you guys would have seen. So he still kicked one from full back. So it was an awesome moment for him, and how good that it came on his 100th game.
We expect you to go back in and ask him why he didn't raise the bat like he promised he would. We were a bit unhappy with that.
He kind of did down the
Well,
city
sort
end.
of. But then he goes straight into defence, but that's okay. One last one, North Melbourne next week for you guys. Again, no game's easy, but I would imagine that this is a winnable game for you. And to keep the season sort of ticking along, it'd be good to go 1-1, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we want to win as much as we can. We'll go into the week with the same focus as probably this week, and hopefully we can go one better and get our first win of the season. But early days, hopefully we can keep building and sort of keep developing and be a good side this year.
Jack, thanks for chatting to us.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, Jack Petruccelli. Good of him to come out after the Eagles went down here today. 12-8-80 West Coast to Gold Coast 16-11 107. We'll get the votes for you very shortly, but let's take a little bit first off of the Stuart Dew press conference.
What got you through, do you think, those third quarter stages to hang on there the second quarter as well and show that grit to be in a position to then pounce in the final term?
I think it's just will to win across the board. So we had a good spread. Obviously the midfield, I thought, Witsy competed so hard in the middle and was a real deciding factor and gave our mids first use. But just when we needed to tidy up, it was a little bit scrappy. The ground was a little bit greasy. So I think we took a little bit of time to adjust and West Coast pressure was really good. So I think once we were able to absorb that and push back was a big factor, and we started to play the game in our half.
You saw at different stages centre bounce goals become really, really important. You had the majority of those when you look back on the game. How impactful was that moment where you started to get control there?
Oh, it's clearly the most open part of the game. It was a little bit of a shootout there in the last quarter at the start, but then we were able to push back, and I think at different times we overused from that scramble situation, but when we were able to just get it going forward and trust our forwards to give us a contest, and I don't think in the last quarter we're outmarked in that forward line from a CB, which is really important to get at the ground because we've got some dangerous players there, and obviously Marbior and Levi did a fantastic job in the air to bring those guys into the game.
A little bit from Stuart Dew after the Gold Coast with their first win over the West Coast.